Hello, you. My name's Jonti.
And I'm Brandon, also known as B Squared, and this is This Week in Ink.
Each week we'll be wading through the Inklands to bring you the news and the views on all things Lorcana.
Coming up, we have our weekly features such as Main Street Market Watch and You Made Me Ink.
And we'll be discussing the latest topics and taking opinions from the live chat. Hello live chat!
I have to give a shout out first and foremost before we even get started to Steven and Uncommon Cardboard. Thank you guys so much for the super chats before we even started the stream. That
live chat is spicy tonight.
Yeah, spicy tonight. For those of you that don't know, you can give little super chats, I think, down there. We are not requiring them by any means. You just being here and watching and enjoying this time with us is support enough. But if you feel like supporting us any extra, there's ways for you to do that down there. All of it goes back towards the content that we make so that we can make this thing better for you guys and continue to do this. So just have to give a shout out to those guys first and foremost.
Yeah, we love you for it, and we love you all being here. And thank you also. Another shout out to the Illumineers, Erin in particular, because Erin was running the show tonight. But they always give us a big shout out at the end of their show, and me and Brandon are always there watching. So if you don't know, there is another live stream you can hang out before we get started. So every Monday from 7 until 8. This week, the week, what do they call it? Let's Talk Lorcana, and it's on the Illuminateers channel, and they always have some great guests on, and every month or so they have like a women's roundtable, and they get loads of female content creators and female voices in the space, and it's really good because what TCG online content doesn't need is more white men. As two of them sit here across from you, I think it's very important to be as inclusive as possible, and Lorcana, I feel, has got the best chance as any as being one of the most inclusive card games out there, just because of the source material, just sort of casting the widest net, so it's awesome, and they're great, and we love them to bits. So thanks for that. Go on then, Brandon. Your the script says Brandon ...
Yeah. So OP reveals. I mean, we're just gonna jump into that a little bit. We're gonna discuss it later into the live stream once we get through the normal card reviews and things like that. But on the menu tonight, I guess, is the OP announcement that came at I guess it was the end of last week, because we're at the beginning of this week. Or the middle of
no, it was
Wednesday.
Week. It was Wednesday morning. Yeah, it was Wednesday morning.
So really exciting stuff that we'll be talking about there. A little bit of tournament talk on some of the stuff happening that happened over the weekend. There was another really large online tournament that had some interesting deck lists and a little bit of variety, which was fun. But before we do that, I think we should jump into the card reveals.
I think so as well. Yeah. And go ahead.
The first one on this list, I don't know if it's going to be the one you have up there, is Flotsam Riffraff. We have Flotsam and Jetsam. I feel like we can talk about both of these at the same time. But Flotsam is an inkable 3-cost Emerald card with 5 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. Your characters named Jetsam get +3 strength, and then I have no idea what you have pulled up.
You can, read them both. I'm jumping between you. I've got Flotsam, I've got Jetsam, I've got Flotsam and Jetsam on the same screen. I am covered.
Okay, all right. We have Jetsam, that's also an inkable 3-cost in Emerald. 2 strength, 2 willpower, 2 lore with ward, and your character's name Flotsam gain lore. So I think this is exciting. I know nothing about slivers, but I keep hearing that word tossed around for these 2 cards.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to get more Jetsam and Flotsam that I can play a bunch of them on the field and have them all give each other really awesome keywords. I think at the very least, it's going to make for a fun theme deck to play if you can get your hands on these.
I completely agree. Yes, they're both on the screen there, so we can talk about them together because they do. These are going to come as a pair. There were a few lists here and there that did just play one of the Amethyst ones from set 1. I think it was the Rush one. You would see him. I forget which one's Flotsam and which one's Jetsam, but the one that has Rush and gives the other Rush. Did see a little bit of play just as like a good Rush body, just only briefly and only in like a few lists here and there. But I think for the most part, you're playing these together and you're playing them with the Amethyst, Flotsam and Jetsam from set 1, right? Like that just seems to be, that's got to be what happens. I don't know whether these are the strongest. I think Jetsam giving Flotsam ward is stronger than Flotsam giving Jetsam a bigger attack. But I think together they work. This is going to be one of those decks that eventually is greater than the sum of its parts. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what. So the reason why people often mention slivers, I think it's a Magic thing. One, because these slither about, and that I think there's some sort of reference there. But slithers are basically a character type in Magic, and they just say slithers gain this. And each of them say a thing. So basically, there would be one called Ward Slither, and it would say Slithers gain Ward. Like, it's literally that simple. And they're all small, and some are bigger, and some are littler. But the idea is that you go and get them, and you just fill the board out, and each one of them on their own is fine. But once you've got 4 or 5 of them, it gets to this critical mass point that's very difficult to deal with. And then, especially in Commander, where you always have one character sort of outside of the deck and accessible. In Slither's case, that's usually there's a couple that do it, but I think the main one is Slither Queen, whose ability says go through your deck and find a Slither and put it into your hand. So you can. So then not only do you have a deck like a Swiss Army knife of a deck with every different possible keyword on one card somewhere, you have a way to go and find the one you want. So if your opponent is playing a very sort of like, I'm trying to use Lorcana terms to make it easy for people watching, but say your opponent's running a real heavy action-based Ruby deck and he's running Dragonfire and all that sort of stuff, you can go and find the ward Slither, you know?
Yeah.
Or if they're running a lot of like really sort of character-focused, challenging stuff, you can go and find the evasive Slither. It's that's the kind of the idea behind Slithers. At least in Commander, they were for a while very strong in the regular rotation of the game, but they're pretty much only played in Commander now. But yeah, that's basically the idea, is that each of the cards individually aren't incredible, but once you have a deck of 60 of them, and each of them giving the other half of the deck a bonus, because that looks like what's happening here with Flotsam and Jetsam, they always specifically name the other one. You know, I think it's going to be really fun. And much like the Magic Brooms, I'm just making sure I've got 4 of these in a little box somewhere until it hits that critical mass, you know? Do you think it could be there now? Do you think the 16 is enough to start?
I don't think so, just because I don't think the cards are good enough on their own. Especially seeing this Flotsam and this Jetsam having only 2 willpower is pretty tough. You know, like there's a lot of stuff they can die to, even if they have ward. And so, yeah, that's why I say I think it would be like a fun theme deck. It would be something really fun I tried to bring to League and just do to see how many I could get out and, you know, give Jetsam or Flotsam ward, evasive, and rush or something crazy.
Yeah, so somebody did work it out, and I think it's there. One of the set 1 Jetsams can now be like rush evasive, or was it one of the set 1 Flotsam can be rush evasive ward, which is kind of good, right? Like, kills a thing and then is very difficult to then get rid of if it survives, you know? But do you think they'll stay in these 2 colors? Do you think set 3 will... Well, no, this is set 3,
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so, just for the sake that you can throw them into the Amethyst Emerald deck and, you know, just do that even further.
And so far, we've only seen Ursula in those 2 colors as well, right? So you can build a very... Even though the Ursulas don't really care about these, you can build a very... thematic deck. Yeah,
I love that idea personally.
Yeah, me too. And you know, the only thing I really don't want to see, a like a location like Ursula's Cave that says you can move Flotsam and Jetsams here for free or something like that, because I don't want to see a location wasted on this, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying.
But like, you know, I find that a lot of cards that specifically reference named cards don't really see much play. Really, we've got quite a lot of them, and I don't think any of them have really broken out into sort of playable territory. You know, there's Tinkerbells that mention Peter Pans, and there's Moanas that mention Takars. And, you know, I don't think any of them are great. And again, it may well get to a critical mass point at one point where that sort of stuff is feasible, but I don't necessarily want to see that much sort of wasted on these yet. I'm happy to just kind of keep, like I say, just keep putting 4 of these away each time and seeing what happens in the future.
Yeah.
Next up, another sort of set of cards that care about each other. This, no, I don't think this will see play either. All right, well, we'll read over these. Oh, do you know what I forgot to make a thing where all 3 of these were on the screen. That might help. So, can you start reading out the nephews, and I'll quickly like on the fly make that happen?
Yes. Okay. So there was Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I need to pull it up on Lorcana's Twitter because it is not on the website I usually use. Okay, here we go. Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We'll start with Huey. He is a Sapphire Inkable 2-cost card with 2 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore with support, and an ability called 3 Nephews. Whenever this character quests, if you have characters named Dewey and Louie in play, you may draw 3 cards. And then both Dewey and Louie are very similar cards. Dewey is an inkable 3-cost Sapphire card with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and 2 lore, who has support. And Louie is a inkable 4-cost card with 3 strength, 4 willpower, 2 lore, who also has support. Something fun that was pointed out by Rochelle herself on Twitter. Scrooge is 5-cost, uninkable. And you can use Huey, Dewey, and Louie to all support Scrooge, who wants to challenge things and banish them so you can play free items. It's like, it's a lot going on, but I kind of like how thematic it is that you can use the nephews to combo with Scrooge in that sense.
To build up, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's fun. It's a lot to get out on the board though. And unless you play Huey on turn 5, I think, is it when he quests?
It's so complicated.
Yeah, whenever he quests. Okay, so even then it's kind of rough. I don't see you getting these cards all out on curve like immediately. I think you'd have to drop Dewey and Louie on turn 7 and then quest with Huey like that turn, and then you draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's fun thematic, stuff. If you want to play a DuckTales deck, this is a little challenge you can do for yourself.
All right, took me a second, but I got them all on the screen together. Okay, cool. So I did a bit of a like RC meme about this, where it's like they're kind of the wrong way around, right? Like, because you want Huey to quest as soon as you put Louie down, and you already need Dewey on the board, right? So I personally, the better line would be Louie to be the 2-drop, Huey to be the 3-drop, and then the 4-drop be, Dewey to be the 2-drop, Huey to be the 3-drop, and then Louie to just stay as the 4-drop. And then as Louie comes down, Huey can then quest and start gaining lore. But I don't know. It's a flavor thing, right? Like, I don't really think it's going to see much play. Just as Sapphire bodies with support, are they any good? I mean, the four costed 3/4 for 2 lore with support doesn't seem awful for a common. Like, I draft it, but I think draft it's fine, and constructed I'm just not sure because even. Like, I look at Dewey at an inkable 3-cost with 2/3. Like, it's a little bit below average stats, but you do get 2 lore, like, which is pretty good for a 3-drop with the support keyword. And like, maybe he's in a very specific deck that really likes support. Yeah.
But I don't know. We've talked about this before. I just think support is one of those keywords that
it just hasn't found it yet, has it? It hasn't. Yeah. It's not performing like it. It's not performing as well as the other keywords, I don't think. So,
yeah.
So, but they're fun. The art looks good, and also people. See, I was never I'm a huge Disney fan, but I was never really a huge Disney like Saturday morning cartoons fan. Because a lot of them in the UK were only shown on the Disney Channel, which you could only get through what we call Sky, which is kind of like our cable. Like paid cable and like I just didn't have it growing up, so I kind of missed the boat on a lot of these. Like, I've gone back and watched a lot of stuff, but yeah, DuckTales, Gargoyles, Tailspin, a lot of that sort of stuff kind of isn't really a big part of my childhood, but I know a lot of people who are super into it and are very keen on it, and my boss specifically was like, so as soon as he saw, I guess he saw the Scrooge McDuck sleeve was like the first thing,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go so hard in this set because this is my childhood, right?" So for the people who are into it, like that's really great, and also this is more of the sort of modern look to them with the relaunch of the show, which is really good actually. I've watched a lot of that.
I need to.
Like there's a lot like a lot of the items in there are from the show, and like people are calling them out and saying, "Oh look, that's the hat from when he did this," and like so there's a lot of like a lot of sort of tie-ins there. SNTV had quite a few decent. Yeah, there was a little bit on SNTV. SNTV was the big kids Saturday morning show. It was literally Saturday morning television, but that was the big one. They had Recess. That's right. Yeah, I remember Recess. That was good. But yeah, a lot of these kind of missed it for me. So. But I think if you're into them, I'm super happy for you, and I'm ashamed they're not maybe a little bit more playable.
Exactly, and like you said, I haven't watched much DuckTales. I know about them because they're around, but I wasn't somebody who watched like the originals, like you mentioned before. I see people talk about like the classic design versus the updated design. I kind of like that they went with the updated design, not just because it's updated, but anybody that watches DuckTales now, especially the children that are watching it, are more likely to recognize these cards, which I think is cool. And the older audience who watch the older DuckTales know who these are and can appreciate them anyway. So I kind of like it for that reason. And I also remember in the old DuckTales, the only distinct difference between the three of them were like the colors that they wore, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise they just like all kind of look the same.
Yeah. Whereas they have like slightly different quiffs now. And stuff. But I mean, I don't necessarily think this is a straight rip of the modern design. I think it's they it kind of sits in between the two. I suppose he has done the hair quiffs there, but yeah, John makes a good point there. The classic design is a little too generic. I think you're probably right. And that's Sky, but I always watch Cartoon Network. Oh, that was not Disney stuff, basically, right? That was all the other stuff.
Yeah, not Disney.
All right, we move on. This is a location. It's a forecast. With how do we read locations out? A forecast. So what? Emerald location.
I read cards differently every time.
Yeah,
so
a forecast emerald location. But like, what is that? A movement cost of 2.
I guess.
A willpower of 6, and the ability surrounded by water. Characters gain ward and evasive whilst here. Fang River City. So this is, I'll be honest with you, the first. And even now, after today, after the weekend, the only location I'm slightly interested in playing.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think this is pretty good. I think this is pretty good. One, I think it's a great hit off of Jim Hawkins. He can play this for free when he comes down, goes to it, and instantly gains ward. And then gains... yes. Instantly gains ward, so because that matters on their turn whilst he's not exerted, right? But then once he starts questing, the evasive also matters as well, and also just generates you 2 lore. So you are, if you're playing Jim Hawkins on 5, you're getting 9 worth of stuff. This comes down, gives him ward evasive, gains 2 on your upkeep as long as they haven't done anything about it, and also the 6 willpower means there are less answers to it, at least in the current card pool, right?
I don't know that there's many that could answer this the turn that it comes out. The only one that I can think of is Maui. And
the more and more of these locations I see, the more I think Maui's stocks just increased even more. Like, he's already incredibly playable, right? But he just gets better and better here, I think, because he takes out all of these. But you know what? Like, if he's taking this out, he's not taking out, the character you quested with that turn. Maybe is that enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea, like you said, of Jim Hawkins playing this for free and then getting to move to it for free. It's a really expensive card, though. Like, not just in its move cost, but also to play. I feel like on turn 4, the game's starting to ramp up. You're wanting to do pretty proactive things at that point. And I just don't know that playing this card on turn 4 is very good, especially because the 6 willpower is nice, but by turn 4 or turn 5, the meta will adapt. Like if this card starts getting played, and we'll start seeing cards that have challenger or have 3 strength, and like you'll have 1 or 2 characters on board that can just challenge this thing and banish it, and you're fine. If not, they just play the Maui whatever. So
but is this are what you describing there not just an issue with locations as opposed to this location?
Yeah, I think it's just this location right now. I'm still taking a lot of time to just sit with locations because they are not making, like, it is not clicking in my head completely yet.
No,
I see locations and I'm kind of disappointed, but even today I was looking through the card pool of just the cards we know so far. And like the Minnie Mouse Spelunker, we'll get to her in a second, I think is a much better card than we thought she was originally with locations, just because of some of the stuff we learn now. And I'll get to that in a little bit when we get to the other locations. But when I first see locations, I'm just kind of like, I don't like this. I feel like this is not proactive. So I feel like I'm missing something, and maybe it's because we only have a handful of cards. Maybe it's just because I'm slow. I don't know, but
no, I get it. So far, like they're not wowing me. Honestly, locations aren't, and I desperately think we need to see either a lot more locations with abilities like this, because they're infinitely more interesting than the villas to me. But I think we also need to see a lot more characters that care about them and do stuff with them and have interesting interactions. I feel like the only one really, that Mickey Minnie is pretty interesting. The Peter Pan that gains the lore might be, although it seems to be quite hampered with that 1 sub-turn, caveat. Jim Hawkins is obviously trying to do interesting stuff with them, but I think we need to see a lot more to really see whether they're going to find much play. But at least this one has just a lot of writing on it.
Yeah, it has a lot of writing on it, and like, I don't know, I feel like for the past 2 sets, Emerald cards have been the cards that we see and we're like, oh my gosh, that looks so good, and it just is never good.
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking about this. I was building and messing around with a discard deck today, and I genuinely had that thought because I was looking at the Bell Hidden Archer and the Flood. I don't remember what the title is. The Floodborn Cheshire Cat, like the 8-drop. And I remember both of those when they came out. We were like, "Woo wee! Look at this big old Emerald card!" And like, just not a thing, not a thing at all. So,
so I'm afraid I think Fang might fall into this category where right now it looks really juicy, but once we see the rest of the set and how everything plays out, it may not be as great as it looks at first glance.
All right, that's fair. I will hang back for now. But go ahead. You can take the next location.
Okay, the next location is Neverland, Mermaid Lagoon. Sorry, I'm having to flip through some stuff to get these. And this is an Amber Inkable 1-cost item with 4 willpower, 1 lore, and 1 movement cost. I actually kind of like this. I feel like this will be the 1-drop location that, like the vanilla 1-drop location, we eventually see in all inks.
Like a cycle of it.
I don't think we'll see them all this round, but I think it'll be similar to like the 1-drops, the 1-drop 1/3s that are coming around. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of this card just because I'm like, on turn 1, you're not doing anything. Like, you play this, you gain a lore. On turn 2, your opponent probably can't banish it because I don't think there's a 1-drop that can deal 4 damage immediately. But then on turn 2 or 3, they banish it. So like this 1-drop location gets you 2 lore on turn 3,
and then dies to Fox.
and then dies to Fox.
Yeah.
My normal 1-cost card does that.
Well, your normal 1-cost card's probably already died to the turn 2 thing, right?
It's like it's serving the exact same purpose that my character did, except it's not damaging the other characters.
It's not hitting them back, yeah.
Now, I will say, in the lens, looking through the cards that care a little bit more about locations, like the Minnie Mouse Spelunker, she's a 1-cost card.
Look her up. I gotta look
yeah,
her
okay.
up.
So I'll do a refresher for chat. She's a 1-cost steel card, inkable, 0/3, with like 1 lore, I think, maybe 2. I think
1 lore.
And she gains, I think, 2 strength when she moves to a location, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's a 1-cost 2/3 with 1 lore. When she's at a location, I can see an opening where you play a 1-cost location and then move her there, or vice versa. You play her first, and then on your turn 2, you play, this and maybe another or something. I don't know.
Playing her turn 1 would be better, right? Because then turn 2, she's online as a 2/3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, either way, because you can move her either way. But
she can't attack. If you play her turn 2, she can't attack. Whereas you play her turn 1, they play a 2/2. You play this turn 2, move her to it. She takes out the 2/2 and survives. Right? That's like perfect line.
Yeah, and that at least gets you like a little bit of board control, where like you're not just sitting there with a location, your opponent's playing characters, and then like what happens when they banish the location.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether or not that's gonna actually be good at the end of the day, but right now I feel like that's one of the better things better lines that we can do with locations that doesn't feel like it's putting you too far behind.
Yeah, and it's gaining you a bit of lore that you're losing from her challenging, I suppose. It's...
Yeah.
I always think, it's weird because things like Shere Khan don't actually see that much play, but I always remember seeing that card first off and thinking, oh, wow. It's gaining you lore from doing the thing that stops you gaining lore normally, which is challenging, So I feel like anything like that is actually pretty good. So people fall into Googly Glimmers' trap in the chat. Googly Glimmers is well aware that that's not a dash, it's a 1. That was something I tweeted because I saw 3 people on Facebook ask that. What's the dash in the corner? Oh, man. Come on, folks. Come on. Yeah, and then what people saying? I think the Rush Stitch will be good against them, maybe, but he doesn't even kill this, does it? Isn't it a 3/1?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a 3/1.
Yeah, so he doesn't even get rid of this.
Right.
Wonder if
right now, honestly,
can't kill this
going first looks like it's even better than it was before.
Yeah. Do you think? Can you ever see a 0-cost card happening?
Sure.
What do you think it would do?
What kind of card are we talking about? Like a character, item, location?
Character. 0-cost character. What would a 0-cost character do? A 1/1 with nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be super weak with no ability, 1 lore. I don't know. Not much.
Would the Mini not still technically be a 2-mana 2/3 for a single turn?
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
We don't have a 2-mana 2/3, do we? Or do we?
Sure we do. We have puppies. What are you talking about? We have hundreds of them.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of vanilla 2/3s. Yeah, so why are we going through the work of making it a 2/3, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we're really trying to make locations work, I can see a line like that maybe happening. But even then, it's not great. Yeah. You're probably still better just playing a 1-drop and then a 2-drop 2/3.
Yeah.
Or when Simba's in the game, why even bother?
That's the thing. Yeah, of course, Simba's a 2-drop 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I Yeah, Franz, by the way, is definitely not on the Lorcana on the location hype train at all.
No,
not impressed.
I know he's not personally.
Is not impressed
And
at
listen,
all.
chat, if there's anyone to listen to, it's probably Franz
Yeah.
in the chat right now. Okay, the dude's really good at Lorcana.
Yeah, but
Traverse Tavern, by the way. I know we keep saying Franz.
Sorry, yes, Traverse Tavern is well worth checking out, and knows his stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I want him to work because it's the new thing, right? But like I was saying,
that's the thing.
To Franz on Twitter the other day, considering set 2 was Rise of the Floodborn, and there was loads of Floodborns, there's a lot of them that aren't really any good, right? You know, so as long as we get 30 good cards out of the set and it slightly shifts the meta, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean that's why I want to hold out hope. Like there cannot be an Into the Inkland set and all the locations are trash and nobody plays them. Like that would be really unfortunate.
But what would also be unfortunate is if there's just one really good Amethyst one that goes into Ruby Amethyst and nothing else changes.
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
like that's just as bad, right?
Yeah, I saw somebody mention today, like they were excited about Into the Inklands because they were hoping locations would cause, or they specifically didn't want to see a bunch of cards come out that banish locations or like interact with locations outside of challenging, because they wanted to see a more challenging location and how it changes the meta. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but that just makes Ruby Amethyst even better. Like they're the two colors that can rush. Steel can challenge, has challenger, which is already probably the third best ink out of between those two. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think that would be good at all. I hope it changes it up and we get something different than Ruby Amethyst just running around destroying everything.
Yeah. And then along came Zeus.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that, unfortunately. A location that draws a card every time you move to it. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. What color would that be? Amethyst. Yeah, that'd be amethyst.
I hate it. I don't want to see another amethyst card that says draw a card.
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it because I got a hit this week because I called Neverland Mermaid Lagoon last week. So here's my prediction. Dr. Facilier's Voodoo Hut.
Oh, that would be fun. I would love that.
Draw a card.
I would hate that.
I would love that. I would hate that.
I know it's coming. I know it has to be coming because it's amethyst. And what else are you gonna do on an amethyst card or on an amethyst?
I mean, it could lean into the bounce thing. It could be a way of hitting bounce without having to have another character do it. When you move a character here, bounce it to your hand.
Okay, we're going off script a little bit here because
there's a script.
I mentioned this in the video that I released today. Bounce should have been an emerald, and I'm standing on that. I will die on that hill. Why Mim got put into amethyst, I would love to know, because emerald should have been the bounce color, and I don't like emerald. Like that's known. Emerald is my arch nemesis ink. And I think they should have got the Mims. They had the bounce stuff before. I don't know why it went into amethyst. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox.
Emerald literally has a card called Bounce, which I think you said in the video, right? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jim. We're just talking about
Jim
you.
Hawkins. Yeah, we're just talking. It's okay.
Wow. I just found out there's a script to this show, and we've been off it. Yeah, because if you had the fact that the Merlin and the Mim stuff was all in amethyst, I think might have been a bit of a misstep, because it just allowed you to grab the best of them and put them with a second color, which seems to be ruby or steel. Whereas if you split them, then that deck could be its own thing, amethyst, emerald. But the fact that they've just been able to take the good stuff of the bounce package. Because a lot of them, the Shapeshifter Merlin doesn't really see play. Arthur sees some play in more aggro-y builds, but, a lot of the time you can deal without that, and you just need Snake, Fox, Goat, and Rabbit, I guess,
Yeah, Rabbit, there you go.
And that's, and you can just add them into whatever else you want to do. along with some of the other best cards in the game, like Friends on the Other Side, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's fair. Oh well, next one then is the same thing but in green. Cool.
Yep. Deville Manor.
Yeah, yeah. I think we probably will get a cycle of these. Whether we get them all in this set, I don't know.
I don't think we'll get it in this set. I think we'll get it in like 2 or 3 sets, just like the 1/3s. I think blue still doesn't have a 1/3, and no steel does. What's the other one? Amber? I don't think Amber has.
It's Amber and Sapphire don't have one. Yeah. And we can assume they come in this set.
Yeah.
And then that'll be because they did 2 in set 1 and 2 in set 2. So cool art. Yeah, art's great on all of these. To be honest with you, I still feel like it could have been, these cards could have been designed a little bit better, so the art took up like a good 2/3 of them. I would have really liked to have had the art really sort of fill up the card on these, honestly.
As awesome as this would be for every other card other than locations, I think it would be especially easy to do on locations. I want just a full art location card, and you can just put the like willpower move stamp on the card, and you don't have to have anything else, and just have like the whole art. It would look so good.
Yeah. Just like along that black line there, you could just have what it is, and then the things in the corner. I think I think it would have been or even get rid of the ink color banner and just have the white text on the card over the art, and just always have your artists kind of make sure that bottom bit there is pretty plain. I guess I don't know. But they're still great. The art is lovely on all of them. Yeah, I haven't really got anything to say about this. It's a 1 costed, full willpower, 1 move cost, 1 lore.
Same.
Does exactly the same as the Amber one. I think if any of them is going to do anything, it might be the Amber one, just because it cares a little bit more about early board presence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. All right. Enchanted locations. Do you want to? Don't think I love that idea.
You don't? Okay.
No, because I wouldn't know how to display them.
Okay, I get that.
Being on the side.
Yeah. I can understand it for that reason.
Yeah. But I think it was Steadfast on Twitter pointed out that they don't have any sort of born categorization. They're not, even though they are storyborn arts, they're not written down as storyborn, and he says that might have been a bit of a miss, because in 10 years you might want to do dreamborn versions of locations.
I think they still can, because I think all these locations are in Lorcana. Like, these are not in the real, like, the locations are not wherever they are.
As far as the lore goes, they're still generated in the world of Lorcana. Yes, yeah.
And I'm glad you pointed that out. It was interesting to see the little subhead to each location, because like we have Neverland, Mermaid Lagoon. That probably means at some point there's going to be another Neverland, whatever.
Yeah.
And both mechanically and to be able to do cool stuff, like maybe make a different version of that. You can just change the subname.
Yeah, you could you wonder if eventually we might get like almost like a villainous setup, where you just have all of the Neverland locations and just bounce Peter Pan around them to win.
Exactly.
It could be interesting, but some of them definitely. There is scope for more like you say, Neverland, Agrabah, that we'll look at in a moment. Other one like Deville Manor, and with the subtitle Krella's Estate. I don't know. What else we're gonna Deville Manor, the bathroom. I don't know. I
would love it. I would love a totally different Deville Manor, where it's like bubbly and full of color and like completely altered version of what Cruella might be.
All right, next one.
Next one, we have Aurelian Gyrosensor.
Good job.
It's a mouthful. Inkable 2-cost sapphire item. It says, seeking knowledge whenever one of your character's quests, you may look at the top card of your deck, put it on either the top or bottom of your deck. I think this card is not actually amazing, and has potential in an aerial Who's It collector deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's also already not amazing, and I don't know if this makes that any better.
Oh, I like this. I think this is. I like it. I think this goes well with Hiram Clavisham.
Do you?
Yeah, because he quests. You then trigger this before he draws.
So you get to choose.
You get to see whether or not you want to draw it or not. Like, I think that's pretty good value. It's a 2-drop item that's inkable. I think this. I mean, I think for that reason, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I won't lie. Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I'll say that much. I'm still not sure if I would prefer something like Cauldron over this, because at least with Cauldron, like, it's not. You don't need anything else to happen. You know, if there's no characters on board, or if there's not if there's characters on board, but you can't quest with any of them because you're sitting across something that, you know, wouldn't be smart for you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel good to just have this sitting on the board. And then you do this whole thing where you maybe do quests, and then you look at the card and it's not the card that you want it to be. I don't know. It's like, I don't think the card's bad. I can see that it has some potential. And we all know that I'm not real good at picking which items are good and which ones we'll see play. So maybe don't take my word for this. But yeah, Australian Gyrocopter is an okay item.
I'll be honest with you, when I first saw the reveal of this, I thought I was looking at a foreign language version for a second. I was like, oh, really? Oh, what's that? No, I think this is good. I'm going to disagree with you. I think this is the best thing we've seen since our last live stream. I genuinely think this is the best card we've seen this week.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a cheap item that is in the color that cares about items. It goes into item deck and helps what that item deck wants to do. You say that, you never, what if you've got nothing to quest? Hiram always quests, man. The guy's a 1/6. Like, he's questing and he doesn't care.
But it's just another piece that you need to that puzzle. It's already flops if you don't find the pieces. Like, right now,
but this helps you find them.
It just only if you have Hiram.
No, there's something else. I annoy quests all day long with this on the board.
I'm not gonna dig my heels too deep on this because I will absolutely get bit in the butt. I will get bit in the butt in set 3 when this is like the meta deck and it's a $15 rare card.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty good. So there's a Gyro there with Amber Mufasa. I don't think so, because I think you want to keep the character count as high as possible in that deck, even though this helps you look at what it might be. I don't think it's worth running one less character. Like, it's like you BBC Bobbity Boo is pretty much the only thing I'd be happy running in that if you're running the Emerald version, and then in the Ruby version, like, I don't know if I'm not. You maybe run Be Prepared just because it's Be Prepared and it's that good. But no, honestly, I think you want to keep the character count as high as possible in the Mufasa deck, really. So I don't know whether this will help. But no, yeah, it just feels like a Met include just to look at the top 2 when you're drawing 2. All right. I'm not feeling strong about it. All right, I think it's good. So there is another thing we have to talk about here, though, which I don't like.
Oh,
and I've said this before. This is not from a Disney movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm not into it.
Really?
I don't. Ravensburger they don't deserve it yet.
Okay.
I see
where you're going with
I don't I feel like they're riding on the coattails of an IP that they have been given custodianship of, and I'm not into it. I'm more than happy for them to try and build a world out, and I'm and all the Illumineers and all that, and the little videos they put out, and the little book, the little stories and stuff. I can get behind all of that, but putting them onto cards, I don't think the game has deserved it yet. And I know it's awful and it's a bit of a hot take, But yeah, that's how I like. I'm fine with like a bit of flavor text here and that. But yeah, I don't think it's right just yet. I'm trying to be as nice as possible. I don't think I am, but there you go.
I think it's fine the way they're doing it. If there were 15 cards that were like, Lorcana specific cards and not at all Disney related, I would agree with you. But so far we have Launch and we have Aurora's gyroscope. So
is this going to become like the Benedict Cumberbatch of Lorcana?
Yes, I told everyone when I saw this card reveal, I'm never calling this its actual name because it's too hard for me to pronounce and remember. But yeah, I think I actually really like that they sneak little things in like this. Seeing the little lore thing like in the Gyrosensor, I think it's really cool. We also see it in another Tinkerbell card that I don't know, that hasn't been actually revealed. It's just on the gift set, but at least that has the Disney character in it. But
yeah, that's the kind of like I'm okay with that. Like I feel like the lantern that Daisy Duck is holding up. Like I feel like that looks so prominent that it's probably a thing, and I'm totally cool with it. I think, and even Launch, I'm okay with because it's got coconuts and there's elements of stuff going on there. But I just like the whole card. I don't know. I just feel like it's a little cheeky. Rochelle says we'll earn it in Jonti's eyes. You will. Like, and on it, like, look, I'm the biggest advocate for this game there can be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm obsessed with it, but I don't know, man. I think it's a bit cheeky. I wonder when would you be happy with them printing a Ventura card character? Because that's the end. That's like where this can get up to, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the Planeswalker version of Magic, right?
Maybe. I mean, Planeswalkers.
But I always hear people.
Planeswalkers are
Lumineers.
So it's weird. So in the lore of Magic, you are a Planeswalker.
You are a Planeswalker.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in the mechanics of the game, it's just a card type. It's a type of card that can be played, and all of the Planeswalkers are like characters within the lore of the story. So
but that's what I'm saying. It would be the same here. Like we are all Lumineers, and we would get a card that had the characteristic a Lumineer, and it would be Venturo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Rochelle says Venturo isn't a Glimmer, and that's fair.
Yeah.
But is the Aurelian Gyrosensor then?
So if they aren't so they bring up a good point. If they aren't Glimmers, then we can't play them.
But is Aurelian...
So in other words, are they saying we won't ever see an Illumineer on a card because they aren't Glimmers and we can't play Glimmers? But that's what I'm hearing.
Is the Aurora Borealis Gyro a Glimmer?
Yes.
But glimmers are but glimmers are pulled from the lore of Disney, and that isn't.
No, not from the lore of Disney, I don't think.
Well, what does it say? I've got to go back. I've got to do a deep lore cut now. We need Leverum. We need Leverum to come and jump in. I don't know.
Rochelle, I'll never say never.
Of course. Never back yourself into a corner.
Rochelle. As soon as we see an Lumineer, I'm going to come back to this live stream and
mark down the time and date. No, I don't know. I don't want to see a load of it. Want a set to a set, that's fine. I just, I don't want to see. I like the fact that the narrative is being tied around it, but you can ignore all of that and play the game and just see Disney characters. Like that's what I was kind of hoping. Is that because a lot of I don't really know any of the Magic lore at all. and can look at but I recognize when Chandra comes back around again because she's and that's I kind of hey everyone, there he is. What's a glimmer? I want a 50-word
we need a video
as to what a glimmer is.
We need a 15-minute video on what is a glimmer. I'm pretty sure that's already out there.
Pooper, boo. Yeah, whatever. Maybe that's fine. Look, if you don't know by now that I'm going to be opinionated about stuff that doesn't matter, I don't know why you're watching this channel. That's what I do.
I just want flame emojis. If you disagree with Lorcana, or if you disagree with Jonti, just pitchforks and flame emojis. We'll rise them up.
All right. And then when we have a couple more locations, these were shown today.
Yes, go ahead.
3 costed. It's never gonna get old. Ruby location, Agrabah Marketplace, 5 willpower, 2 lore, and 1 movement cost. I don't know. I don't know what to think about these. I don't know what to think about the vanilla locations. I just don't know. I don't know. I can't call whether they're until we see more cards that care about locations. I don't know why you'd play this. We need to see lots of cards that are like that care about locations. And that's fine. They come in. I'm sure. We've seen hardly any of the set.
I think this card probably nets you 2 lore most of the time, or at the very least, it stalls your opponent from questing for a turn. Maybe
I think it as it stands. I think it gets you 4, right? Because
I don't know about that.
Is there something that's doing 5? Well, I suppose challenges.
Maui.
What's but Maui's coming down on 5.
Yeah, so
you play this on 3. You earn it on 4. You earn it on. So on the play, you'd get 4.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. On every time I see locations,
makes a difference,
I'm like, yeah, going first makes a difference for some of these. I don't know. It's yeah, I think we're just missing pieces. I don't know. It's not doing enough. I don't want to play a location that doesn't do anything and then be behind on turn 4 or turn 5 when my opponent's played a board full of characters and none of them have damage on them.
It's 4 lore if they don't put all of their resources into dealing with it. I mean, yeah.
But then, they put all of their resources into dealing with it, and then what? You're back to where you were. If not behind, because they're still playing characters, while they're doing this.
But all their stuff, say they haven't got the Maui, and they've thrown a 3/2 and a 2/2 into this, because their stuff survives, right? Their 3/2 and 2/2 is now exerted. They didn't gain any lore, and you've got a turn to do whatever you want.
So now you smash your characters into theirs if you have any left, and we're at an even board state. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Or you quest, and then they do the same thing that they were going to do. I don't know.
They're challenging your occasion. They're not challenging your characters or questing or singing. And that's it. And that's what I think it is. It's the denial of...
It's just stalling the game out.
But they remind me a little bit of the Emerald stuff that says, I'm going to quest, you deal with it. Right?
And how good is that?
It's all right.
It's not bad. It's not good.
Fox and whatever Fox bounce dances this, that's fair because you can throw a 2/2 into this and it survive and then bounce that back with the Fox.
Yeah, the cards that are still problems, that are still really good.
I feel like we need to see a lot. We need to see characters that care about locations and gain a lot from locations. And I think they come in, and I'm still playing the first chapter of Flynn. So. Yeah, 100%. I play Flynn. He got even better because he's in a discard deck. His Floodborn's great. So, yeah, and I think. Cheshire Cat doesn't really sit. I mean, I have Cheshire Cat in my discard deck because I'm really leaning into the Bucky Floodborn stuff. So I actually do run a couple of copies of the big one, purely just to hit it on 5. But yeah, I just really like Emerald. I want Emerald to be great.
I hope Emerald is good after this.
I
set.
think
hope
Emerald's
something changes
Emerald's
to
had the
that.
best reveal so far in the set
I'll agree with you on that.
in that Ursula.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think that Ursula that
Most
songs
impactful, at least.
is definitely the best card we've seen from the set. Yeah. Why does the stream say that it's League of Legends? Does it?
Surprise!
I can't. Yeah, we're doing a 180. I can't. It's because I can't tell them it's Lorcana. I guess I don't know. Maybe I pick League of Legends.
I don't think Lorcana is a game category or whatever in YouTube.
No,
sad.
No, because it's only video games. To be fair, so it's not a Lorcana thing. It's just you can't.
It?
Yeah, I think so. You can't select magic. I don't think.
Oh.
Ursula and I Have a Dream are the best cards right now, in my opinion. Which one was I Have a Dream?
The
one that heals and draws at a location.
No. I don't know. I don't remember if it heals. It's a song. I think it's a 2-cost inkable ruby song. It readies and you gain lore either from the location or the character. I can't remember which one.
It's from the location, yeah.
But yeah.
How can you play Floodborne cards if you don't like real Disney lore? How can you play Floodborne cards if you don't like real Disney lore? Those are reimagined character stories. Huh? So am I reading that wrong? I feel like I'm having a stroke trying to read that. It's gone.
Referencing your
the fact
not
that
liking
yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm absolutely just I understand what you mean now. How can I play Floodborne cards if I don't like non-real Disney lore? Those are reimagined characters. Yes, I understand what you mean. Sorry. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. I'm a hypocrite.
Blame him, chat.
All right, last one then. Go ahead.
Okay, Motunui. It is a Sapphire Inkable 2-cost card with 5 willpower, 1 lore, and 1 move cost, with the ability Reincarnation. Whenever a character is banished while here, you may put that card into your inkwell face down and exerted. Jonti, this is the location card that I'm most excited about that we've seen so far.
Yeah, do you know what? I kind of forgot about this. You're right. This is actually pretty good. First of all, though, one thing I will say is you are saying it wrong, and I only pointed out because I was as well. I have totally been putting an N before the T.
I know.
Yeah, and I have.
I type it that way too, and I have been frustrated all day trying to fix it.
Yeah, it was as I was making this screen before, I was like, Motunui? Oh, I've totally been saying that wrong.
I'm glad you called me out on that, because I really do need to
I called myself out on it as well, yeah. Motunui.
Motunui.
Yeah, you're right. This is be prepared proof. This is
Oh man. I have not had any love or hate towards Sapphire, but this card by itself makes me want to run this ink just so that against Ruby I can play it on my turn 6 and move everything there and just stare my opponent in the eye and grin.
That's it, because it's cheap and literally turn 6 you play this and move up to 4 characters onto it. Yeah. And then be like, go ahead, ramp the hell out of me,
please. Yeah. And I know before chat comes in and says Maui, I know Maui can banish this, but unless Maui's already on board, you can only do 1 on turn 7, and Be Prepared is probably most impactful on turn 7. There's plenty of decks out there that have to see Be Prepared on turn 7 or close to it, or else they lose. That's basically Popsicle's plan. It's see Be Prepared turn 7, and then the entire rest of the game you control the game. And I think this is a great, I won't say great, I think this is a pretty good counter to that. It's a great way to be okay, now you can try to control me for the rest of the game, but I now just got 4 ink in 1 turn, so I'm loads ahead of where you are and can play a lot more stuff and do a lot more things.
Maybe not necessarily loads ahead, but in a against a Popsicle deck, you might just be keeping up. But it's it's definitely a lot of value off it. You're happy if your opponent is at 7 and they spend 5 ink. If they don't, 100%. If this draws out a Maui,
Yeah.
and stops that Merry then going into one of your characters.
And even then, you still get a whole turn where you can just like full quest everything. Like I
Yeah.
know you still need to be prepared, so I was still just full quest.
Yeah.
Now you used a Maui and you still have to be prepared to turn late. Like
Yeah.
I think it's I think this is the location card that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
I think it has the most potential.
I think a lot of the Sapphire Steel builds that are kind of bubbling up, like the Cogsworth and Friends stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff over the last week or two that's really trying to get Tiana working. I think all of those love this, and and it just sort of goes in just that real like sticky. Those sticky cards, they just come down. They're just tricky to deal with. The only real way to get rid of them, especially all the big resisty stuff, is to be prepared. Yeah, and then this it gets be prepared, and then cool, you've got 9 ink to do whatever you like with. Yeah, I dig it.
Googly Glimmer says, "What if they do it to their own characters before they play Be Prepared?" Yeah, super scary. Like,
oh yeah,
card.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah. These goes well with it as well, yeah. Rochelle Shah moving a Floodborn here is also really nice. Yeah, exactly. You're getting that. You're getting that. Like it's, they're getting the value off of a let it go on a Floodborn. It doesn't happen so often now, but it's basically the same thing, right? It's just going to really ramp you to the moon. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's an extra step, it's an extra turn, but it's kind of the closest like everybody's talked about, what would the card look like that's Be Prepared, but just your opponent. And like this is the closest thing to that. You're not keeping everything on board, but you're getting a huge benefit off of your own Be Prepared.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we ever like literally just see Be Prepared for one side. That would be insane. Yeah. I could see something that like bounced all of theirs or something like that. I could. I still think, and I don't really know why, other than in Magic it's called Cyclone, but I still think whatever. Trident, whatever Titan's Trident does will be something like that, something like bouncing everything
you mean
back.
Are you talking about Titans from Hercules?
No, I'm talking about Ariel's dad, Triton's Trident.
Triton's Trident, yes.
I think will be some kind of like, bounce everything back to hands or something, but I don't know. Floodborns aren't worth 2 because they hit the discard and then separate. Oh, hold on. Whenever a character is banished while here, you may put that card into your ring while face down and exerted. Yeah, that is right, because wasn't that ruled with Facilier that if a Floodborn hits the discard, only the top one goes back to your hand?
I'd have to read the stuff. I don't remember. I don't remember when.
Yeah, I'm sure that. Yeah, I think that was a ruling from Steve actually.
Because I know at the very least, like when you play something like Marshmallow and then you challenge with Marshmallow and then like he gets banished and goes back to your hand, he does hit the discard pile first.
Oh yeah, 100% they do, because that was one of the first things we checked with some of the Merlin stuff, right? Was that does things like magic brooms or him? But no, I'm pretty sure I remember the ruling being that if a Floodborn gets sent to the discard and is returned to your hand via something like Facilier, only the top one goes, because they hit the discard, then separate, and then the ability only sees the card. It sort of was on the top, yeah. So yeah, in this, assuming it works the same, assuming it works the same, only the
verify to people.
Yeah, like it does. Character is banished, they hit the discard. Yeah. I missed when banished. Rochelle. Yeah, Rochelle coming in here with
misinformation.
Tut. I would agree if it wasn't Rochelle who started it, and then Rochelle says, "No, you're right." There you go. We put all our faith into these people.
Rochelle's the global community manager. She's not the game designer.
No,
give her a little break.
We'll let her.
If it were Steve,
you get one. All right, there you go. That's all the reveals. We're up to date, I think. Unless Rochelle wants to just drop something in the chat right now. Just going to give you the option? No? Okay. All right, we'll move on. Should we take a look at the market then with our Main Street Market
Ooh.
watch?
Yeah.
One very specific area of the market, in fact, today we're going to take a look at, and that is Enchanted. Yeah, because they have kind of been trickling up.
Rip my wallet, dude.
Actually, yeah. Want me to? Yeah, of course. I will if you want. Yeah. I don't want this to count as our reveal for set 3 though, because we can't. We would like to hype that up a little bit. Oh, I've gone super blurry.
I was about to say you just went real blurry.
I did a. There we go. I did a.
Yes, Rochelle. If you want to just drop a card, I mean, like Jonti said, if this takes away from one we might get later.
Yeah, I'd rather be able to hype one up a bit. But if you want to just drop one, you go ahead.
But if you're just feeling generous tonight,
that'd be great.
I'm not gonna stop you.
Well, but we'll carry on talking while you think about it. So we've got no, this is me. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I mean, Spirit of Winter's still up there as number 1. But they've all started trickling back up again, and more noticeable with set 1 ones.
Yeah.
But if we go into take a look at them, they all have this curve from basically from Christmas Day. They all do this kind of. They've all got this like hockey stick line. It's less noticeable with the set 2 ones. But yeah, if you look at some of the set one ones, Elsa, let's have a look at our Spirit of Winter. They've got literally Christmas Day is their lowest point, and then they all start to skyrocket up again. I wonder if is it just that that the large restock we got towards the end of the year has kind of got out there and trickled out. I see a lot of posts on Facebook, and that was my first mistake, was looking at posts on Facebook about this. But, a lot of them are like, oh, yeah, it's market manipulation. But I don't know if it is. If you actually look at, sold listings, it's 1 or 2 a day is getting sold.
Yeah, that's, I don't know either, because I've heard a lot of what you're talking about. I've heard both that people are manipulating the market and buying a bunch of stuff up. I think I heard at one point that there was a PSA 10 Bell that got bought for $300 or something, which shot the market the market price up for Bell. And so people started buying up a bunch of Enchanteds because it was more expensive than I guess they thought it would sell for. But then I did the research looking at the cards today, and I saw that there was that dip, and it was very close to when the restocks happened of all the first chapters, big important ones, when everybody needed, was looking for more cards. And so I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out how much of it is market manipulation and how much of it is, people have just stopped opening the first chapter and the cards are starting to steadily increase.
Camille
I say
says
steadily. This isn't very steady, but
no, it's quite drastic, really. Camille says I think it's people completing their collection post Christmas. I mean, that could be it as well. It could just be that people are buying them up. But it's very interesting. It's great for someone like me who doesn't plan on buying them, but is happy to see the ones he's pulled trickle up.
Horrible for me.
Who is trying to do them? So are you going for all of them or?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All 12. I have 2.
No. Oh no. I mean, sorry. I meant all every set you're trying to do them, or you just
no.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Jim, I do have a seller page on TCG Player. It's B Squared Store, I think. But I'm just trying to do the first chapter. I actually today I posted about this. Got my very last foil card that I needed to
That's
finish.
Such a weird random one.
I know. I know. It's kind of a funny story, actually. I don't know why. I don't know how I didn't end up with a foil uncommon. But I ordered all the rest of the ones that I needed in just in one big order. It was a bunch of legendaries and super rares, basically. And noticed this one was missing, so I needed to order it along with everything. And all my cards came in and they were great, except for the Donald they sent me was not foil. It was just a regular Donald. So I messaged them and they were very nice and said they would just send me a foil. So I thought it was very funny that a Donald Duck Musketeer was the last foil that I was missing.
It's just a random card.
Yeah. But yeah, and after I saw prices skyrocketing, I instant bought a Stitch Carefree Surfer for like $200 basically. So I think I did pretty okay.
Yeah.
And I was gonna slow buy the rest of them, while they were most of them were around $100, and some of them are still there. They're a little bit inflated, but it's gonna be a lot more hefty on the wallet for me to finish this.
I mean, I'm really happy to see Carefree Surfers listed for $770.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. Can I do it by keeping my headphones on?
That's why I bought when I did, by the way. The lowest listing that I have on TCG Player right now is $375.
Yeah, and the highest is $770.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Oh my gosh!
Look at those bad boys! Ooh!
Yeah.
Brand new cards you've never seen before. Sent it to Jonti. I swear to God, if it's a Dalmatian puppy.
It's a puppy. Best troll ever. So funny. It would be really funny if we just made them wait for
it. All right, hold on, give me a minute.
I'm gonna see this late, by the way, because I'm watching the.
I know I can probably send it to you as I save it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to do it. How am I gonna be able to do this? Hold on, because I'm using Discord.
Do you need me to share my screen or something?
No, it's okay. I got it. Just give me 1 sec. I'll have to.
I promise.
Work around.
Michelle.
Well, I just wasn't really expecting this. I asked for it, thinking the answer would be "screw you."
No. Hey, there's a lesson. Everyone in chat, you miss all the shots you don't take.
This is 100% right, Michael Scott. Okay, I've sent it to myself on Facebook, so
okay.
Now I should be able to go on.
You should send it to me.
Well, I can. Yeah, I can. I can do that now. Hold on. I can do that on my phone.
And I can gloat over chat for having information they don't.
You'll have seen it first. Second.
Drums in the chat. I like it, Jim Hawkins. I want drums in the chat for the reveal.
All right,
type this up. Live reveal.
Live reveal. Yeah, go and share Twitter and all that. See, it's like it was a genuine laugh, wasn't it?
That is great. Oh, this is awesome.
Why would I? Yeah, I sent a photo. Yeah, why can't I see my
humor? Man, this card makes me excited.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Eh? Okay, I'm gonna have to just go to the logo for a minute. All right, you can still hear us, but I'm gonna have to do that because I can't save it from anywhere else. Okay, there we go.
Drums, more drums.
All right,
let's see the drums.
And then I can open that, and I can.
This is a great time to say I appreciate every one of you that are here tonight. Thank you very much for being here.
I can close that.
And waiting while we do this. I
can click that, and then I should. If I press this, you should see 99 puppies.
What?
Look at that. It's a 5-casted uninkable action in Ember. Whenever one of your characters quests this turn, gain 1 lore. Woo-wee! It's an uncommon with art by Agnes Christiansen. I love how I said if this is a puppy, I swear to God. And it is.
It is. It's
loads
99.
of puppies. Thank you, Michelle. This is great.
I love you so much. Thank you, Michelle. That was awesome.
There we go. 99 Puppies in action. 5 costed unkable. I mean, uninkable because that's pretty strong, right? Basically doubling your lore.
Yeah, you just flood the board and then quest with the action with all your puppies and call it a day.
And call it a day and go home and say next game. It was, in fact, puppies. It was puppies all the way down.
Plural.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to say how many puppies are actually there.
Every one of your characters quests this turn, gain 1 lore. This reminds me a lot of the... Isn't there an uninkable 5-cost emerald item that says when all of your... like whenever a character quests, your opponent loses a lore?
Yeah. Steal from the rich.
Yes, there you go. Steal from the rich.
Yeah, you could play both. You need a lot of ink, but you could play both.
Yeah. Okay, I was just
okay.
thinking in terms of that card. I think this is a good, like, I don't know how good this card is.
19.
It's a great card for Amber. 19.
It's very Amber, right? Because, you know, Amber's all about putting characters down and turning them sideways anyway, right?
Exactly.
2, 4, 6, and 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. And then Pack Tactics is gain lore for each damaged opponent. Yeah, so it's got a similar vibe to Pack Tactics as well. But yeah, that's so much fun.
I feel like this one is less... this might be the version of that requires the least from you. It's like Pack Tactics is kind of a setup. You know, you have to do the damage.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Pack Tactics goes... I mean, Pack Tactics goes crazy in multiplayer. My boss has a Emerald Steel deck that runs Pack Tactics, and he basically wins the game when he... like, because he'll play a giant tink next turn Pack Tactics, and you're like, it's literally game over in a multiplayer game. It's kind of gross. Yeah. It just shows you how much content on YouTube is focused about 1v1 that like there isn't more talk about how Pack Tactics is broken, because it is broken in multiplayer.
Yeah. I only have 2, and I wish I had more, because sometimes at League we end up playing multiplayer just because there's only 3 or 4 of us, and I so bad want to pull out a Pack Tactics deck and just do that. Like, it sounds so fun.
I wonder who's going to be, because the top of the card's cut off because of how my screen's set up. I wonder who's going to be the first people to
post it on Twitter.
Steal this from us.
I should have done it. I could have. You sent me the card.
I did, yeah. You could have got the hype. Let's have a look. It's going to be... It's either going to be Jared, because he's always on it, or it'll be the guys from the Forbidden Mountain, because they're always on it. Yeah. Go ahead and post it. I'll retweet it.
I got it. I posted it.
Oh, there we go. Just like threw it out. No comments or anything. Just like, what? It was me. Googly Glimmers, no.
Nah. What happens? We get to reveal it. You guys post it. It's a community.
There we go. Look at that. I wonder if it's already on the Discord. Probably. They're not. I mean, they're pretty quick.
On the official Discord?
No, on the or on the big one. Usually somebody posts it there pretty swiftly.
It hasn't been posted yet.
No,
it's also
nobody watches this live stream.
No. But I will shout out Googly Glimmers. They did link the live stream.
Oh, well, that's very generous.
So thank you for that. Instead of just throwing the card up and not mentioning the source at all. I will say that.
Well, the source is Michelle.
I'm going to say, well, okay, you know what I mean. When this part of reveal season comes around and content creators all start to reveal cards, please, if you're going to post the card on Twitter, at least like tag the creator that got to reveal it and give them a little bit of credit.
Just retweet it. Yeah.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, that would be
cool.
even better.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna post it, because I get it, at least tag the people that reveal it, just as a courtesy. But yeah, this was a fun card.
It's a very fun card. So there's a thing on.
I did, Franz. I did. It's on This Week in Ink.
He didn't put this. there's a Kickstarter. Let me see if I can find the name of it. I think I got emailed about it today. Case. Let me just go back here for a second.
The card number is 24, by the way. I'm listening. The card number is 24.
Here it is. So this is like it's Pokemon obviously is the big thing about it, but it's been mentioned on a few Lorcana groups, and it's like this modular card display thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do like a 9. It's going to be kickstarted. This isn't a sponsorship or anything. It's just something I've been looking at. There you go. There's a good picture of it. Basically, it'll hold 9 cards like that, but each of those is magnetic, and you can pop them out. And sorry, Brandon, I realize you probably have got no idea what I'm talking about. If you get a Pokase, Pokase.
Okay, I can see it now.
So because I've wanted something for a while now, because obviously I would love to get some Lorcana on the wall, and I've decided what I want to do is I want to put every card that I've revealed on the channel, basically. Like, so I want to go right back from like LeFou Instigator, and Sudden Chill, and then Pack Tactics, and now I guess 99 Puppies can go on there as well.
Yeah,
and I'd like to do that. So I've been looking for something. I think this is really quite nice. Yeah. All right.
I would love to do something like that too. I intentionally make sure that I have a foil version of all of the cards that I've been fortunate enough to have a part in revealing, just for keepsake.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, thanks for that. Anyway, let's move on. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, enchanters are expensive.
Yeah. Very expensive.
Yeah, chances are going right up, and I hope they keep going to the moon, because I've got no plans to buy any of them. Woo! Let's go!
The thing that I'm concerned about with this is I think it is a mix of what we talked about, of like people manipulating the market, and the first chapter is getting off of the shelves now. People are stopping. It's not being opened as much, and some stores are running out of it, and so like this is the time where prices will probably start climbing a little bit. Just gradually as time goes on. My concern, because that's fine. I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
My concern is that because of this just sudden jump, it's just gonna level here and then start climbing from here instead of like go back down to even
worse, people who are like, oh my god, these are going to keep going. We better buy them now, and that makes them go even higher. And it's this sort of like self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Because Elsa was already gonna hurt when she was at like $400, but the lowest listing that I see right now is $700. So
I mean, we're nearly back up to like. I mean, I'm not sure we'll ever see Gen Con numbers. You know, when they were selling for like a few $1,000s, but it's pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, she like market price $770. Market price is still $5 at the moment, but yeah, you're right. The cheapest one $674. There's a few $1,000 ones listed. Actually, there's a page 2. Let's see what they go up to. 2. Okay, so all right. So there's tier 1 games. God bless them for trying. Oh, it is. It is. Oh, sorry, that one is PSA 10 actually, but yeah, that's at 2.2. Yeah, it's crashing back. It's a weird buyout. I don't know. I don't think it's a buyout. I just don't think it is. If you look at the actual sales, it's showing a couple a day. Like, there was 1 sold yesterday. Like,
yeah, I mean,
those aren't buyout numbers.
I don't know that it's one person or like, you know, doing this. It might be a mix of people. I can't think of this term, but like they're buying because they're scared that it's gonna like go up and then never go back down. So like they're doing it now.
Yeah, let's see where it is next week. Oh yeah, it's definitely something good to keep an eye on, and also like I feel like it should be running across on a ticker tape along the top there. This is not financial advice. We have no idea what we're talking about.
Don't listen to me. Yeah, I'm not giving any advice on what you should or should not do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and that's going to be wait for my next paycheck. And hope that these level out a little bit so that I'm not having to buy them for twice what they were 3 weeks ago. but we'll see. I
We'll
said I was going to
see.
do it, so I'll do it eventually.
All right. We have a You Made Me Ink this week.
Yeah, we do.
And this was my choice this week because I played in a little tournament at the weekend. It wasn't a huge thing. It was just my local store, and it was 16 people. The pricing was just some product troves and D100s and whatever. But still, it's competitive environments, and I go with a competitive deck and with a competitive mindset. And I'm a big fan of these little sort of store champs. We'll talk in a bit about the official store champs that are coming. I'm very excited for those. But I'm quite a fan of just store tournaments because I like the fact that everyone who's sitting down there is going in with the mindset that they can play hard and their opponent will play hard back, right? And I'm a big fan of that. I'm not the best player. I'm not the best competitive player by a long shot, but I enjoy playing competitively and enjoy knowing that I can give it my all and my opponent's going to be doing the same. So I played in a tournament. I didn't do very well. I took a new deck. I took an Emerald Amber Mufasa build because I was bored of Ruby Amethyst. And I'm now playing Ruby Amethyst again because I realized that the thing that's boring about Ruby Amethyst is consistency, and consistency wins games.
Yep.
And as fun as the dead dad roulette of the Mufasa decks is, it is not consistent, and it's a shame because that deck has got some really good fun interactions. Its early game is incredible. The queen and the queen and the pain and panic doing stuff together is so much fun and so versatile. And then you get to turn 5 and nothing else happens. In the Emerald version, at least. I think the Ruby version probably holds up a little better because it's got a lot more sort of late game plays then with Tremaine and being prepared and what have you. So. But yeah, so I wasn't too happy with the deck. I went 2-2, so managed to claw a couple of victories at least to put me middle table. But the one card that absolutely destroyed me was Lucifer, a 5-costed uninkable 2/2 for 2 lore. In Emerald Storyboard Ally Mousecatcher, when you play this character, each opponent chooses and discards either 2 cards or 1 action card. And I'll tell you now, in a Mufasa deck, that's 2 cards. Because the only action you're running is a couple of copies of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, perhaps. And yeah, the two games I lost, one was against a Sapphire Steel ramp. That again, I came out really strong, got up to like double figures lore wise. I think I got to 15 lore on one of them, and then just absolutely burnt out of steam. And then they and then they smashed down Tragic Heroes, Big Tinks, Cinderella Stout-Hearted, all of these huge big value targets, and I just wasn't getting any hits off them. So so that was the one game I lost. The other game I lost was an Emerald Steel Discard, who we played 3 games, and the 2 games he went first, he won. The 1 game I went first, I won, and everyone was very close. Honestly, they were close matches. But the 2 games where he went first, he perfectly curved out to a turn 5 Lucifer. Turn 6, Bibbidi Bobbidi it back down again, which, like I say, in a Mufasa deck is 4 cards.
Yeah.
Which, on turn 6, even with a couple of Bucky hits, is your hand. I'm sorry, not Bucky hits, but even with a little card draw off like Rapunzel or something, if you get the Rapunzel hit, it's gross. I'm guessing it was against a 12-year-old. No. Everyone who played was the typical sweaty, bearded tryhard. No, that's not true. Actually, we have quite a diverse mix, but there was no kids playing in the tournament. And yeah, Lucifer can get fucked. And I have an Emerald Steel deck that runs him, and that I have a lot of fun playing him, but wow, he's not nice to play against if you're in a character heavy deck.
Jonti, I have to say I'm enjoying hearing this just a little bit. Because I remember when we went over this card revealed, And a lot of people were just like, this card is not good. And I remember I was like, this card is not bad. Like, this card is, when you play this and then bippity boppity boo, I remember saying the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know. I don't think so.
It's two. The thing is, it's two uninkable cards. You've got to, like, you really want this on 5. But you don't want it. You don't necessarily want it in your opening hands because it's going to break your hand up a little bit, right? So it's it's still a little tricky to pull off, but man, it's good when it happens.
Yeah.
The only thing that would really make it crazy was if they did it like a Floodborn, because I think there are 2 ways you can build the discard deck. One of them is you can lean more into the actions, into the sudden chills and the hypnotizers or whatever. And then the other one is you can lean into the Bucky and hit a load of the Floodborns. That's the one I play. That's the one I prefer. But you still carve out a slot here for him in where you would be wanting to hit Floodborns, right? This is your Tragic Hero slot. This is your who else are you getting down on 5? You're Stout-Hearted if you've curved. There's a lot of this is a competitive slot in that deck. But
and that deck, like, it's hard to fit some cards like that in that deck, especially this one, because I played around a little bit with Emerald Steel discard too.
Oh, really?
I actually didn't run Lucifer because I wanted to do more of the Floodborn thing and just was running too many uninkables, and I was like, I just can't. Like, in my testing, Lucifer felt a little bit win more than just having other Floodborns, but there's definitely lists with Lucifer that bite hard when Lucifer comes out, especially if you can do something crazy like a turn 3 shift Flynn into sing bippity boppity boo, like with Bucky on board, bippity boppity boo, then put Lucifer down. I think, I don't remember if Flynn's 4 cost or 5 cost now, but
the Flynn Floodboard is 4, but he's only shift 2.
Okay, well, still something similar. It's shifting a 5 cost and then bippity boppity Lucifer down afterwards. Is just
so I played around with because I was running Lucifer in my Emerald Musasa deck actually, purely because the Bibbity was there for a couple of other sort of fun bounces, and he just works so well with it. And I actually played around for a little time with a few copies of Just in Time, the Amber one that lets you play a 5 cost early. But it ended up clogging the deck up a little bit, really. But yeah, shift Big Tink on 4, Lucifer on 5, Tink sings Bibbity Bobbity. Yep. I had somebody play a Lucifer and then turn 2 with 6 ink, just hard cast Bibbity Bobbity twice.
Oh no!
I was like, come on, man. But yeah, it's pretty gross. But I feel like whenever I get a Lucifer on the board, they've got like a let the storm rage on to get rid of.
Yeah.
Or, I
feel you.
Man, so
it
gross.
Never hits as hard.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what it for. AJ, good friend of mine, I pretty much knew everyone I was playing against in that tournament, and we all had some good fun games. But yeah, I did walk away that day like that. Little Connor's little crap. And mostly, at least in parts, was down to Lucifer.
And now you're back on Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah, but also I've actually gone back and looked again at the Emerald Disco because basically I want a second deck because I don't enjoy playing the same deck all the time.
Sure.
And maybe the second deck just becomes Emerald Steel. I only have 1 copy of Tragic Hero, which is kind of the main reason I haven't been focusing too much on Steel. But I don't necessarily think he's needed. In that build, maybe I don't know.
This might be a hot take because a lot of people say like Tragic Hero is a must in all Steel decks, and I agree. Like if you have him, you should be playing him. But I think you can get away at a local level fine without him. If you don't have him, you don't need to spend $200 on the card.
And that's the thing. Like if he was $20, I'd be like, yeah, you need 4 of him, but he's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, good fun though. Always nice to play competitive. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have took a deck that I wasn't comfortable with. And even though I spent a good week with it beforehand, I've been playing Ruby Amethyst in some form since set 1, and I really should have stuck with it. And the other thing as well is I teched a little bit against Ruby Amethyst, and then didn't really come up against it. There was, out of the 16 players, there were 3 Ruby Amethyst players. And a lot of players had teched against it, and we all kind of butted heads against each other rather than coming up against it. So yeah, it's interesting. Whether or not we see that on a bigger scale, a lot of people are talking about that, but when we look at the big results, like we're going to do in a moment, there's a bit of shift there. But for the most part, no, it's still Ruby Amethyst is the one to beat.
That's it's an interesting thing to kind of segue into the next topic, which is the OP announcement that Disney Lorcana, they've announced their official competitive circuit, which is fun. We'll look into that in just a second. But local meta is a thing, and like the same thing happens at my store. We don't have a ton of people, but I'm surprised like nobody runs Ruby Amethyst at the store, not a single person. Wow. Which is nice, but it's just interesting for it to be such a popular deck. I would always go in expecting somebody to be playing it, and nobody is. So like it's not something I'd have to tech for an amazing it's the set challenge. That's what it is, right?
Set championship.
That's what
is the name of the the store level stuff.
Yes.
The challenge is the name of the full OP. Is
it just stuff. The challenge?
It's called the Disney Lorcana Challenge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Disney Lorcana Challenge is events like regional up to Worlds, and then the local tournaments is known as the Set Championships. Yeah.
I could do this awesome thing and open the articles that I linked.
Yeah, that's what I've done. We're looking at this one from The Gamer, written by Joe, nice guy, and obviously Eric from The Gamer is very active in the Lorcana community. And this pretty much covers all of it. There's a few articles out there. Obviously, I've got the official the official one up here as well, but the Gamer one pretty much covers everything you need to. So yeah, the OP plans, like we were all waiting for the January announcement. I do feel like it's a little bit of an announcement that announcements are coming. I don't feel like, I wonder if maybe they weren't quite ready, but they just wanted to kind of give us enough to shut us up, basically.
Yeah. Because I feel like we knew that these announcements were coming in January back in like November or something. So I feel like there was stuff that was planned for sure, and like maybe they ran into some hiccups. Obviously, we won't know what that is.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree. I feel like it doesn't quite do justice to say it was an announcement of an announcement. I think it's midway between that and actually stuff that we learned. Because we didn't know anything about this before, and now we know somewhat how the structure works.
The main reason I say it like that is because I think a lot of people were waiting for this to plan their vacation for the year, right? Like I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for is which month do I need to put in 2 weeks off for, or a week off for, or whatever. So, and that's January is the kind of time you should be looking at doing that for later in the year. So I think maybe that's what people were really hoping for here. But yeah, so there is a few different things here, so we should break them down. Well, if it's okay with you, we'll talk a little bit about the larger OP stuff first, and then we'll come back to the store champs, because I have a little bit more to say about the store champs.
Go for it.
Yeah, so basically there is going to be a regional championships, which then will feed into national championships. I think, or is it regional level and then goes to North American Championship or European Championship, and then both of those then feed into a World Championships, which will actually take place in a full year from now in 2025.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, people keep calling them nationals. I think internationals would probably be a better term, but
yeah, because national league you think
regionals,
is a country thing, right?
yeah.
It looks like it's going to be regional. Whether I don't really know what sort of scale the regional stuff will be on. I don't think we know that yet.
Say that again.
Like what sort of scale regional stuff will be on? Like is America the region or is Texas the region?
I'm assuming
you know? Like,
no. I'm assuming it's like within the country. Like I'm assuming multiple regionals within the United States.
Okay.
I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but if there's are 6 regionals, I will be, or sorry, if there are less than 6 regionals, I'll be disappointed. If there are more than 8 regionals, I'll be surprised.
Okay. So 7 then.
Like I
very specifically 7.
Ideally, I would love 8 because then I think you can like put 2 or 3 in Canada, which I think is important.
Yeah.
For those of you up there, and then and then you still have enough to like spread across, and this is just for North America, obviously. And you can spread across the United States so that people from different parts of the United States aren't having to travel too far if they don't want to.
I'm just gonna get you to hold the fort for a minute. I gotta pee.
Sure, yeah, I've stuff to say. So we've done a bad job of explaining this. Basically, you start with regional Disney Lorcana Challenge championships. They're open, invitational. Anybody can go, and you compete. And I believe the top 4 of those get invited into the internationals, or they get invited to the North American Championship, which is the next step in this line. They also mentioned that there will be other ways that you can qualify for the North American regionals and the European regionals. So we don't know what that is yet. I think it would be fun to see something like an open the day before where people can still come and play a day 1 basically, and then all the people that competed and made top 4 in the regionals get to skip day 1 and they just get pushed right into day 2, so they don't have to fight through everybody, but X amount of people from day 1 will get pushed into day 2, so you have like an extra chance. I also think that would really incentivize people to go to internationals. Okay, yeah, Traverse Tavern is correcting me. It's not an invite. You just automatically qualify for internationals. But I think having like an open the day before, like a last minute qualifier, is usually what they are called. I think that would incentivize a lot of people to still travel to internationals, which I think would be big. I think it would be a little bit disappointing to have your regionals where a lot of people show up to try to compete, and then you have your internationals. And there's some sort of like last chance qualifier the day of that like you can still compete for it. And if there's not that, then I don't expect a lot of other people to show up. So I don't know if it's been confirmed that it's going to be like an open like that, but yeah, it's definitely been confirmed that there will be a last chance qualifier, or like another way to get into the tournament if you didn't qualify through regionals. And then we don't know what group of people from internationals get invited to Worlds, because Worlds is invite only. But some group of the top X people from both the North American and European nationals will get invited to Worlds. And then there might be other ways to qualify for Worlds, because unless Worlds is like literally top 32 or top 16 and it's just single elimination, and then there's a loser's bracket, and it's not Swiss, I don't know how they'll structure that. But something else to note that I'm very excited for is Worlds will be a part of a larger event. So we don't know what that means. We don't know if that's like Worlds is at PAX, just as an example, or if there's going to be, or if it's just going to be basically like Lorcana Con for a weekend, and it's just a huge Lorcana event for the weekend. I hope for the latter. I hope that they do like tons of fan events, and everybody wants to show up, no matter if you're competing or not, and we all can have a fun time and then watch people play or not, just do side events and extra stuff if you want. Just make it this huge, big, awesome celebration for Lorcana.
Yeah,
but that's essentially the road.
I mean, I can see it going either way. You know, it's still a new game. It's still a young game. So, you know, I wouldn't, if they came out and said, oh, yeah, it's your Gen Con or like, you know, it'd probably be something a bit earlier in the year. But yeah, something at 25, you know, would be, you know, I could totally understand that. But personally, I would love to see a Lorcana Con. Espion says D23. It can't be D23 because it's 2025 and D23 is every other year and it's this year. So it won't be D23. But yeah, I would, you know, maybe they're clever and they think that Lorcana Con could be the off year and Lorcana Con happens every other year on the off year of D23. You know, like I don't know how much cross
I don't think it'll
contamination there is there, but you know.
Also, D23 is in a different season than Worlds is, because Worlds is in the beginning of 2025. D23 will be at the end of 2024.
Yeah.
So like, in August. By that point, I don't even think internationals will have happened.
Yeah, maybe not. But yeah, it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Obviously, I'm personally more interested in the sort of larger event because I'm not. I know I'm not good enough to place in something like that, so it's not even worth me pretending that it is. You know? I know the game well, but I'm not. I'm not able to really zone in like the top players are able to. I'd love to talk about it there, though. You know, like I'd love to be able to watch the games and cast them or what have you. But you know,
if I am not able to be a part of the events in any capacity like that, I'll definitely give it my hardest for the regionals. Like I'll practice and see how far I can go. But yeah, if I'm given the opportunity to cast or even be a part of different fan segments, whatever it is, I'd absolutely take that up for sure. I mean, I don't think it's a secret anymore. I'd love to commentate officially for Ravensburger.
100%. Yeah. That's definitely the sort of that for me is the end goal. Not the not winning the thing. I feel that's attainable and what I would rather do anyway. I like the sound of my own voice. What can I say?
Hey, we're good at it. We do it every week. We can talk in front of a camera. We talk about the game.
100%. So that is sort of one side of the announcement. There was also it's kind of got a little bit swept under the rug. There was an announcement that alongside set 5, I think. There is going to be a starter. There is going to be a new player.
It's called the Gateway. I think.
The Gateway product. It's going to be 2 30-card decks, and then a pile of cards, and you work through learning to play. And as you complete challenges, you'll get cards to add to the deck, and they're just going to be all in the box basically. But it'll say, "Oh, well done! You've learned how vanillas work. Open up the next packet and it's 5 evasives and you shuffle them in and you learn evasives and then we don't know this is purely me speculating, but it's gonna be something like that, and then by the end of it you've worked up to a full deck that you can then take to your locals. So I think it's a great product. I haven't seen the product. I think it's a great idea, as long as they
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I know that Pokemon has a similar product that I really like. I've never bought it or used it, but I've seen it in stores where it's just like it's a box, almost like a board game. Like you can find it in the board game section, and it is literally
Battle Academy.
Battle Academy, and it's like a phenomenal entry product. Not like usually it's marketed to kids, but to be honest, it's great for anybody trying to learn how to play the game. That's especially people that haven't ever played a TCG, which is a lot of the audience that Ravensburger is trying to target with Disney Lorcana, and we've already seen that already in the community. So really excited to see what comes out of that.
I think it is, and I probably, if you'd have asked me a few months ago whether or not something like this was needed, I might not have said yes. But then about 6 weeks ago, I tried to teach somebody with 0 gaming experience how to play Lorcana with 2 starter decks. And it kind of made me realize how like starter decks aren't really like brand new player starter decks. They're
Mhm.
probably people who've got a bit of an idea of what a TCG involves, you know. Like I was sitting there, and because there's so many caveats in the game, there are so many asterisks everywhere. You know, there are so many. This is
Yeah.
what happens. It can't do this on its first turn. Oh, this one says rush. Oh, okay, so that means it can do it
But now it
actually. But
can.
yeah. And part of me did think, oh man, should I just strip this down to like 20 vanillas and be like, you can quest or you can fight, right? You challenge or you quest. The whole basics of the game is the risk versus reward of turning your characters sideways to further your own win condition or to slow down your opponent and get into their win condition, right? Then I was like, can I really boil that down to something and then start adding in mechanics? Excuse me. It sounds like that's kind of what this product's looking at doing. Yeah. And I think that's great. And so I think it's a very good idea. I hope that there are no alt arts in it. I hope there are no meta cards in it, because I don't want people who are establishing the game to buy this product.
Yes,
you know, and
I agree.
And the problem is the second they say, "Oh, and the last thing you win is this cool alt art Mickey Mouse," they're instantly sold out by people who already know how to play. So, yeah,
I don't want to have to own one of these.
Yeah,
like I don't want to be like, "Oh, I'd like to have one of these," because
they I hope that by the end of it, what I would love to see is by the end of it you have 2 starter decks. You know, like you have 2. Like by the end of it, you've got 60 cards, 5 of them rares, and they're one-offs, and they're fine. You know, that's the power level I think this thing should sit at. No alt arts, no really good cards, nothing. You know, just make it so that these aren't appealing to people who know how to play.
Yeah.
You say they're pretty clear for newbies, yeah, but like, it might not be a problem regarding stock availability. But I have people that if I let them in my store, they would buy 4 of each starter deck to get play sets of the rares that are in them. Like because the product availability is that low, right? Like I that would happen. There are people who will buy there are people who would have bought 4 starter decks to get 4 goats or to get 4 Queen commanding presences early in the release of set 2. So yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, I think there are some meta cards that are fine for this, commons and uncommons like friends. Yeah, that's kind of the level I think it needs to be. Really, Dragonfires, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, stuff that sees play and is pretty good, but nothing that people are going to be like, oh man, if I buy 4 of these, that's cheaper than getting the singles. You know, like I don't want any of that to come into it. I want these to be not appealing to people who are invested in the game already. Yeah,
Goat was 3 of in the starter.
Oh, what am I thinking of? Fox, maybe? Is Fox a one of? Whatever the rare is.
I think so. I think Rabbit and Fox might be one of. One of those.
Yeah, Goat is the 3 of in the starter. Yeah, but yeah, maybe it's Fox I'm thinking of. I forget. Yeah. So yeah, but then the other thing they show is the store champs, the set championships, which is going to be a grassroots tournament that's going to be officially sanctioned by Ravensburger, but playable in local game stores, 1 per set. So each set, a store is going to be able to run one of these events, and the prizing for which is going to be or at least for the first one, is going to be an enchanted card and a playmat to match with champion written on it. I've put them on the screen right now. I use this. I just want to show this as well. I use this as the thumbnail for this video. Never will our microphone be so well placed on a thumbnail. Like it's just sat there, like he's singing into it
in front of Rockstar Stitch. Heck yeah!
Like it's made for it. So here we go. So here's the pricing. They've the original articles. A lot of them said that it was the top 2 would get these. It's since been confirmed that the top 4 of an event will get the Stitch Rockstar, and the top 2 will receive the Rockstar playmat.
Yep.
Awesome art here by Nicholas Cole. I'm
Amazing.
I'm going to assume this isn't your favorite ever card now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I love all of the art in Lorcana. It was the first thing that caught my eye, like got me into this game when I saw it back in January of last year. But there has not been a card that I am like, I have to have this card.
Hmm.
Um, there are cards that I love. I have favorite arts. I have favorite artists and like with their style. The moment that I saw this card, it was like the world changed. I was like, I will own one of these cards one way or another. Like I'm gonna be competing for them locally. I hope so badly that the LGSs around me are smart enough to schedule set challenges on different days or like
Mm.
different weekends
Yeah.
because there's probably 4 LGSs in an hour or two drive for me that might even be able to run these. It says
Yeah.
select stores. I don't imagine Ravensburger will be too picky on who gets to run these. But like the store that I go to normally, the one that's in my town,
Hmm.
we're lucky if we have 4 people total show up. So
Yeah.
like I don't know if there's going to be a minimum like that your store has had to have in Melee every week for them to say, okay, this store can probably run a tournament.
Hmm.
Because like I'm sure more than 4 people would show up
Yeah.
um, if they had announced this tournament. But it's like I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to bring 16 people in
Hmm.
like to play for this card. You know,
It's I
um,
it's this is the thing I desperately want more information about, more so than anything else from this week's announcements, because this is the one that like affects me most as a local store manager. But yeah, what's a select store? Is that hobby
mm,
stores? Is that
well,
because
just select
yeah, like
hobby stores like that are in the OP program
I would
already.
specifically say select hobby store
Yes,
program
select and
stores.
then yes,
Ah,
yeah.
so yeah, like who knows, right? Like if it's a numbers thing, I feel relatively confident because we have 30 to 40 people playing every week.
Yeah.
But like I don't know whether that's the right thing to do. What I but also how strict are they going to be with like how much do we charge for this event? Because that's a big
Yeah.
consideration for me as well. Because there's a store down the road that does everything it can to just fleece people on Lorcana. Are they going to put
Mhm.
$50 tickets up for this? And then also, are we allowed to like gate who can play in this? Because what I would love to do, honestly, so here's the thing, right? As the manager of a store, what I would like to do is be able to run this event for the people who play in my store every week, right? I would like
Yeah.
to be able to say that all my regular league players can have a ticket for this.
Mhm.
As a player of the game who desperately wants one of these, I'm doing exactly the same as you are. I have a WhatsApp group with me and 3 of my friends called Team Rockstar, and we are already looking. We are already looking for stores in a 3 hour drive from us
Mhm.
that we can just go around and, like you say, go around and try and make sure we all get one of these, basically.
Yeah.
But what I don't want to happen is people like me show up at my store who I've never seen before just to try and win this, and that
Yeah.
happens. Like we've
Sure.
run like RCs for Magic, we've run qualifiers for Magic, and you get 20 people, these try hard players who you've never met before. They come in, they play the game, they take the prize in from your locals, and they leave again, right? And it's not a great
Mhm.
vibe. So I'm hoping that I am able to say, we're gonna let you get a ticket for this if you have X amount of league points or whatever, or you've been out
Yeah.
this many times or whatever. So hopefully that's something we're able to do. I would love some more information about this. One thing I will say though is I love it. This is exactly what I want to see from the game. I hope League continues the way it is. I would like to see prizing at League shift a little bit. I would love to see like blind bags. A
Yeah.
lot of other games have like these little foil packs that's just like 2 cards
I
in
like
them.
that. Mhm.
I would like to see those over just like the foil promos. But the amount of cake and eating going on right now, 100%. I know exactly how I sound and I think the problem is it's the first time since I've worked at a game store that I have been this invested in the game as a player. as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very aware of the juxtaposition, and I'm very aware of the double standards. Like, I want you to know that I'm very aware that I want to go around and I only want one of them. Like, as soon as I win one, I'll stop going to them. I don't want to clean up and sell them.
I'm not gonna sell them, but I have a group like you're saying, and we all of us. Some of us are in a more populated area, some of us are not, and all of us are looking out for each other. And it's like, until everybody in this group has a Stitch Rockstar, I will be fighting for Stitch Rockstars.
That's what we've said as well. I'm not even that fussed on the mat. The mat is nice. But I have like our store makes mats, and I always have one of those, right? Because I want to represent the store, so I have mine. And I did have the top 8 mat from Gen Con until it got stolen. So, like, I'm done with mats. Whatever. I don't care about mats. I want one of those. I want one of those cards. I'm going for as many as possible. Yeah. No. I want one. That's all. I want one for myself. I'm not trying to get them up. I'm not trying to hoard them. I'm not trying to sell them. I want one. If I go to 5 events, I want 5 mats and 5 rock stars. Yeah. No, just want one. I'll happily go somewhere, come forth, get my rock star, and I'll be happy. I just want the card.
Yeah, I will literally not. I mean, like, I definitely want the mat too, but if I just get to an event and top 4, I will let out the largest sigh I've ever let out, because at that point, I will not care if I win the tournament at that point. Like Jim says, everyone's going to be practicing for regionals while Brandon's going to be practicing to win this card. Yes, like, I would rather win this card than I would win a regionals, probably.
Well, you haven't seen what the regionals prizing is yet.
I guess you're right. If the regionals prizing is pretty, I don't know, like, it could be another crazy cool alt art enchanted, but if it's not Stitch, this is just not for me, you know.
So
I'd take it and then buy one of these, probably.
So how do we feel about the fact, obviously you're a fan of Stitch.
Yes.
How do you feel about this being a card from 2 sets ago, and a card that already has an alt version? You know, like, do you think it's an interesting choice? Do you think it's just because, like, Stitch is a fan favorite?
You mean like another Stitch already has an alt version?
No, Rockstar has the D23 version, so there is already.
I mean, I guess I don't really count that.
Well, that's fine. You should. Like, it exists.
It's like it's the same art on a card with a different stamp on the bottom, and it's also very, very difficult for people to get. So, like,
it's actually very easy to get. You just need to have money.
So it's not very easy to get. But yeah, I think it's fine. It's a popular character. This might just be the Stitch bias coming in, but I'm glad it's something like this instead of like a Mickey, because although I know Mickey is like the face of Disney, there's like, this is a much more prevalent card that especially stuck through the first chapter. We've seen play in Rise of the Floodborn, might still see play for Into the Inklands. Like, it's a good card that means something to the competitive people. It's also a very popular character. You know, like, so it fits just that Disney scope as well. I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't mind it personally.
I think it's kind of like, it's the triple threat, right? Yeah, it's easy. It's a playable card. It's a popular character. It's a popular artist. You know, no denying that Nick Cole is one of the poster boys for Lorcana, as far as the artist goes. So, I think it kind of ticks every box, really. I think it looks great. I'd be interested to see whether every set, we get it's an enchanted from 2 sets before that, or if there's, just because it's to start off with. I couldn't think what could, if that is the rule, what would the set 4 one be? As in which set 2
like
card?
What Rise of the Floodborn?
Yeah, which Rise of the Floodborn that doesn't have an enchanted would you get and be really happy about seeing? I struggle to think of one, honestly. Maybe
Merlin
Tragic
Goat.
Hero, Merlin Goat. Yeah. Like,
probably like, a beast card, or I'd love to see a princess. Like Cinderella would be cool.
Yeah. Like Stout-Hearted, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be one that doesn't have a regular enchanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it has to be one that doesn't have an enchanted. Yeah, so Tragic Hero would be the pick for me. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, Tiana. Yeah, maybe. I feel I'd want it to be maybe a little bit more playable, perhaps. But yeah,
Because I think I think like the card being a popular character is a lot too, right?
yes,
Like I joke Merlin Goat, but like if it
yeah,
was Merlin Goat, the memes would be really funny. Like
yeah,
all the competitive players would be like, "This is hysterical."
yeah,
But in regards to people, like local people who are Disney fans playing this game, wanting to go out and play for a card,
yeah,
less people are gonna do that for Merlin Goat than they
yeah,
will like Cinderella. You
yeah.
know?
I think so. Yeah. Does Sad Pete have an enchanted? No. I think that would be a good shout. Everyone says Rapunzel.
Yeah.
The second they do a Rapunzel enchanted, it goes to the moon, like wherever it
Yes.
is. That could even
Yes.
be like a regionals thing, honestly, because that would be
Yeah.
insane. Yeah. Daryl before says, how do you guys feel about only top 4 qualifying for nationals? That we don't know that happened. We don't know. That's not.
Well, we do know that on the regional level, top 4 move to nationals.
Oh, we do. Oh, I'm
immediately.
sorry. We do know
Yeah.
that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we know it's top 4.
Um,
Just for regionals. From nationals to worlds, we don't know anything.
So that I feel like that means there has to be quite a few regionals then.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I kind of come up with the 8 number, because then that gives you 32 people, and
But
then
that's
if there's
not a. Do you feel like
No.
32 is a pretty good national number? Like that seems
No,
tiny.
but because I think there will also be a last chance qualifier the day
Right.
before that like anybody can go to,
Right.
and you play, and like the people who qualified just immediately go to day 2.
Right.
And so like you have hundreds of people come in for the last chance qualifier,
I see.
and then the last day it's like the top 32 that play it out, or the top
And then
64
and then the next day there's a 64.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. Sorry, I missed that bit. But yeah, we're saying that these store championships, though, these ones where you're doing the stitch, they are not feeders for any of the
No.
challenge stuff at all. Yeah.
As
Which
far as we
again,
know.
I think they have said that there isn't, and I'm happy that they're not, because again, if they are, you just end up getting the nomads, the ones that go all around, just desperate for the ticket, desperate for the invite. So,
Yeah. I was a little disappointed to see it if we were going to do a point system, because I kind of liked how in a point system, if you can't travel to like 2 or 3 regionals and do well, you can at least, go to some local events. But since there doesn't seem to be a point system, then yeah, I agree. I think I hope, I don't think this will happen because set championships are just once a set. But I hope that this helps a little bit in leagues that struggle with most or half of their league brings competitive decks and like sweats during the casual league play. And all the casual players feel like they're pushed out, or they just don't have fun, or they're around people that they're uncomfortable with. Because this is only once every 3 months, essentially, I don't think it's going to do that entirely, but I hope it incentivizes stores. And kind of back to the pricing structure, I wish the pricing or the league structure would change, and incentivize stores to do like separate it, have a competitive night or have a tournament every Saturday or whatever, and then have casual league night on Tuesday or whatever day. That way that casual players can come in and like do their thing and not have to worry about competitive players like getting their itch. And I don't think that structured, I think the structure now rewards people for coming in and like playing the best decks and doing the best thing, especially in stores that have a fair amount of people where it's not guaranteed that you're going to get all of the promos and pins just for showing up and playing.
Yeah, so I feel like we've managed to hit a decent divide with that, because we're not been able to give everyone a promo. So we've been saying that at the end of each round, 42, the top 42 points wise get a promo, because we have 2 OP kits, which gives us 48 promos, and 6 of them mysteriously disappear. So we say that the top 42 get one, but it's based on league points, and you can turn up on a Saturday, lose 10 times, and get your 10 league points for the week. So it doesn't necessarily reward the best players, it rewards the most consistent players, which again isn't fantastic, because if somebody has to take a week off because they've got a thing, they're suddenly then dropping down the chances of getting them. But we aren't having 42 people get 10 points every week for a month, so it isn't too much of a problem. You pretty much have to turn up twice and get 6 or 7 points each time you come, and you'll probably place for a foil,
I think it also incentivizes very efficient play, though, because you can go in and lose 10. Do you guys do best of 3 or best of 1?
We just do best of 1, and you only get a point for the one time you play that person, so you have to get up and move around and play somebody else.
So the stores that are doing it by the book, and I wish more stores wouldn't, because some of them think that they need to, and I'm pretty sure it says in there do what's best for your store.
Yeah.
But mine does best of 3. Yeah. So to get 2 stickers, I have to win a best of 3 with somebody. And I don't have the time, and nobody's around long enough to lose 10 best of 3 games.
Well, no, 10, that's an 8-hour day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's I don't know. I think it's, especially when run that way, I think it incentivizes people bringing decks that are good, not decks that are fun.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And I really hope eventually Lorcana can come up with a prize pack, which I think is similar to what you just mentioned earlier. That's what they were called in Pokemon, because I would absolutely love the little store that I went to. We had enough Pokemon players that they could host a tournament on Saturdays, and 12 of us would show up, and you just get a couple packs for just showing up, and that's still a competitive thing. You could do that for casual too, for league play, and just take the points away, or make them all even, or give people more points for doing fun stuff than for wins, and or even out wins and losses. Do something so that people can just show up and then not care if they're winning or losing, and they primarily care about having fun. I think.
Yeah, but I think it's all working. It's all moving in the right direction. I'd be very interested to see what the OP kit looks like for number 3, because what seems to have been a prize as part of the OP kit 1 and 2 is now in the trove. Yeah. So I feel like that's probably going to be a little bit different. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. I hope they're sort of reiterating it and tweaking it and listening to feedback and stuff. So and they are, I feel. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So I think that's most of that. Did we want to talk a little bit about Tia's second big tourney?
Yeah, we can go over it pretty quickly. It was another really big event. It wasn't as big as the last one, but only by about a dozen players. There were 270 players in this one, and it was the top 8 was very different than it was last time. For anyone who doesn't remember, the last large tournament like this was 7 Ruby Amethyst decks in top 8, and then a Sapphire Steel deck. This top 8 has 3 Steel Amber players, 3 Ruby Amethyst players, a Emerald Amber, and a Sapphire Steel, all in top 8. And one of the Amber Steel lists is actually quite an interesting list, because it doesn't run a whole new world. It's not like your typical.
It's not a song one,
Steel
right?
Song list. Yeah. It's a very interesting list.
It's yeah, this is the one that it's like a bodyguard. It's more of a bodyguard build, and again, it's doing its hardest to get this Tiana out there as well. Did you see the new trove? Jim Hawkins, I showed the world the new trove. Yeah, so this is, I mean, it's interesting that there's a one of the Beast Tragic Hero. If you just showed me this deck, I'd have said it was a locals deck.
Yeah,
not
like,
Pixelborn.
right? It's such a wild deck list. Like, at one Piglet in there, one Beast Tragic Hero, Hercules.
One Piglet? What?
Yeah, like, What is this list?
Yeah.
I love it. I love to see it topping a
Yeah.
tournament. I will say, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this, because this is really the only reason I want to talk about it. I don't think the diversity of this top 8 is because there's a bunch of there's a bunch of decks that beat Ruby Amethyst now that people have found. I think it's literally everybody is sick and tired of playing against Ruby Amethyst, and there were literally players that I watched on stream play this tournament who said, I refuse to play Ruby Amethyst for the rest of Rise of the Floodborn because it's just not fun to win tournaments with Ruby Amethyst anymore. Like, it's just unfair. So although typically I would agree that deck diversity is always nice to see, I don't think it's because like things are actually very well balanced right now.
People are forcing the meta to change, rather than it sort of naturally changing. And you could argue that each of these, each of these decks have got something in there that actively sort of combats Ruby Amethyst. Ruby Amethyst.
I mean, it has to some degree.
But yeah, it's this is the Emerald. Absolutely making a liar out of me here. There's the second place was a Mufasa Emerald Amber deck that looks very much like my one. I wasn't playing Mad Hatter, to be fair, but pretty much everything else was like, yeah, that's what my deck looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to say that people just like high roll through a tournament and get second place in a 270 player tournament because. I mean, like, I don't think anyone can high roll that well, but yeah, if you have a good day on an RNG deck, you have a good day,
Yeah, and it depends on your matchups as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, nice to see variation, but I think you're right. I think people are forcing it.
Yeah, I mean, like Ruby Amethyst took first, for the event still, even though everything was.
And there's nothing in there that's, any sort of anything of note really.
All the same.
One Elsa and 3 Ursula. I feel like that's the only real difference you're seeing now. Like other than like there are some more aggro-y builds that maybe run Arthur, but if it's more of a control build, all you're really seeing is what selection of 6, 7, 8 drops am I running? Is it how many dragons, how many Elsas, how many Ursulas? That's pretty much the only variation in them, I think. And I think a lot of it is a personal taste as opposed to anything else, really. I don't think there's that much like hard data as to whether or not Elsa is performing better than Maleficent. I feel like a lot of that
I think some of it is a little meta dependent. Like the Ursula over Elsa makes a lot more sense to me because of the amount of steel that we see rising up that people are playing, because Ursula is just very difficult for steel players to do anything against.
Such a big butt.
Yeah, and I think there are different versions of Ruby Amethyst. I think there's a control, there's a mid-range, and there's an aggro version. But I agree that like within those subtypes, the decks for the most part are like figured out. And then there's a little bit of teching that goes on. Like, do you want to run Fidget to try to tech against the other Ruby Amethyst decks that are running, mini, like things like that go on. But
I see a few Peter Pan shadows creeping in to helping your Maoris take out the minis, that kind of thing. It's Googly was I can't stand these alphabetical deck lists. No, I'd much rather than being on curve. Me too. It's a little irritating, but it is what it is. It's a great site, this Index, by the way. I tweeted about my little tournament, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't do very well. Here's my deck list. Oh, here's the top 2 deck lists. And whoever it is who makes this site was like, here it is. It's up on the site. I'm like, what? Like, nobody cares about this, but great.
I've seen like very small tournaments end up on there. One like tournaments that if I were at, I wouldn't bother trying
but
to
like
put
I
anywhere.
assumed that it was the tournament organizers going on and up and putting the information on there, but like no, it's whoever's running
No,
this
yeah,
site is going out there and finding this data and putting it up.
yeah.
It's kind of amazing,
Which, like,
really.
good on them, yeah,
Yeah.
because for the competitive scene, that's an extremely useful thing to have,
Mhm.
even in relatively small tournaments, to be able to see, okay, what are people running? What worked here? What weird thing did somebody do?
I would
Or what's been consistent?
I would love to see. I don't know how it would be able to be displayed, but you can click here and go into like Ruby Amethyst, for instance, and see all of the Ruby Amethyst lists. I would
Mhm.
love to be able to see some sort of graphic that showed you the variance, like which card is there always four of in these decks, and which
Yeah,
card kind of shifts it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how it would be displayed, but
yeah, it would be really fun to see just a percentage of like you said, of how
yeah,
many decks run friends on how many how many Ruby Amethyst decks run friends on the other side and
yeah,
have the 100% bar or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Yeah. Fran says, all right, gents, need to head to bed. Last chance to give me your top 5 current cards. Oh, that's easy. My top 5 is Dalmatian Puppy 4C, Dalmatian Puppy 4D, Dalmatian Puppy 4A, Dalmatian Puppy 4E,
Are we talking
and Friends on the
Inklands?
other side.
Oh, okay. Are we just doing the whole thing? I don't know Inklands. I'm not going to give you an Inkland answer right
No, I
now.
think he's looking at in general. Yeah, I'm just being an idiot.
It's goat, fox, be prepared, whole new world, and then I don't know what's the 5th. Probably rabbit would be mine.
Rabbit's boring. There's got to be something more impressive than Rabbit. Lady Tremaine would be
I
up
don't
there
think
for me.
so.
I love Lady
I don't
Tremaine.
think Lady Tremaine's actually that good. I think
I know,
rabbit
I
is.
love her.
And I think rabbit is
I'm
10
never
times
not
better than
satisfied.
Lady Tremaine.
I'm never not satisfied when I play Lady Tremaine. Never. I never put her down
Really?
and be like, ooh.
I'm so sorry to anybody that plays with Jonti, but I just don't know if you're playing against good players at that point. There's plenty of times that I've watched somebody play a Tremaine and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
I love it. I very rarely play her on curve, but I'll be prepared. You play one thing and then Tremaine's next. Like I love it. Ah.
Yeah, but people have learned that now. Now they
Yeah.
just play 2 things.
I haven't played the deck for a couple of weeks, to be fair. So yeah, maybe people are more savvy now. But I just like her. I think she's a really interesting card design. Rabbit's just like goat, but draw a card instead of gain a law.
Yeah, it's freaking too good to be put in Amethyst.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
there
all
you
those
go.
cards should be banned right now. What card do you hate when it enters play? That's a good one.
I don't love seeing the like big steel stuff.
Yeah, one of
because
the first ones was Cinderella for
Yeah,
me. That was one of the first that came to mind.
Stout-hearted, tragic hero, even Big Tink still. Like when I see them come down, I'm always like, ugh. They're gonna get value out of this.
I think it's either Cinderella or like Ursula.
Yeah.
Because like they're just, if you don't have a card to deal with it specifically,
yeah.
Oh well.
It's just a
Good
fluke,
luck.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. But there we go. That was good. We went on for a bit. Rochelle coming in and throwing a reveal up.
I know.
Pushed us back like 15 minutes.
She's West Coast. She should still be awake, right? Thank you,
Yeah.
Rochelle. And the rest of the people at RB. You guys are doing great. Jim Hawkins, a lot of you.
You're smashing it. And anything we ever say negative about the game, it's just because we love it.
Exactly. Seriously though, I think that's a little thing to say real quick. A lot of people can be really quick to be negative and hate on the game. And I think a lot of times it's just because people love the game so much and want it to be good. Myself included. If I ever come off frustrated, it's because I love this game so much.
Yeah. And it still continues to impress me how well-rounded and how like just quality it is. Like it could have been so phoned in, you know, like it could have been that there is like Disney for the most part is a relatively prestigious brand, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of that comes from the goodwill of many years of throwing enough shit that some of it sticks. There is a lot of crap Disney stuff out there when it comes to the secondary IP market, right? There's a lot of crap Disney games. There's a lot of crap Disney merchandise. There's a lot of rubbish out there. So, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, there's no way this would fail. It's Disney." You're not even looking at what the Disney stuff out there. So the fact that there's clearly this much care and just sort of like attention to detail, just all the little tie-ins and the little jokes and the little references, and there's a Mother Gothel that comes out with 3 damage on her, and there's a Rapunzel that heals 3 damage. All those little things just continue to impress me, and every time I see more stuff, and every time the Dalmatians with the different arts, and every week there's something else that comes out about the game that makes me think, God, this is really in safe hands.
Yeah, definitely. And I even think there's more that we're probably still missing, because I'll never forget the first card reveal that I was able to do, the Ruby Captain Hook.
Captain Hook, yeah.
His ability, the name of his ability is literally a line like from the movie, from him like chasing Peter Pan, and basic like the card art, the line, the scene, and then like the evasive Peter Pan card that Hook is supposed to be countering with that card. Like it's basically like telling that entire scene of the movie. And I would have never caught that had I not been given that card to reveal, and I went back and watched the movie, tried to like look into it. And it's like so much love has been put into this game. And I love every second of it, and like agree with everything you said.
Yeah, awesome. All right, that was a good show. What does your next week in ink look like?
I'm very excited. I'm doing a Rise of the Floodborn draft on Wednesday.
Is this your first draft or
third draft?
Okay. You're a fan of the format?
I love draft. I've never played much of a physical TCG, but even in digital ones, I enjoyed doing their draft. I don't know what you would call it, but similar stuff in those. And then I did my first draft ever out of a physical one for Rise of the Floodborn, and absolutely fell in love. They're so fun.
They really are, yeah. Really, my favorite thing about them is that it really shifts the value of a lot of cards in the middle of the table. I don't think you'll see, although I think one pops up in a tournament list I was looking at, but you'll very rarely see Lumiere in a constructed deck. But you know what? When you're midway through pack, you're like, it's just a big body in it, this is awful. And it does a lot of work. And so I really love that draft makes you look at cards in a different light. I preferred the draft experience of set 1 to set 2 just because set 1 had got a lot more of the sort of staple stuff. The next draft I'm doing, we're actually running it in a couple of weeks, and we're doing a mixed draft. So we're doing 2 packs of first chapter and 2 packs of Rise of the Floodborn. So really excited to see how that works out and whether it sort of works at all or not. I don't know. That's going to be interesting, but. I'm a big drafter. I like drafting. I would do more sealed if it was a little more cost effective. The price point is a little tricky for sealed, I think, in this game, unfortunately. But I enjoy sealed as well, where you just get like 6 packs and build a deck out of the packs you're looking at. But yeah, I'm a fan of draft as well. So awesome. And I'm going back to Ruby Amethyst. I'm going to start stomping all over people again with it. I'm fed up. Actually, no. I might play the discard deck a bit. I think that's probably next.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. All right.
It's a crazy world that I'm saying I would rather you play the discard deck than the other deck that is worse.
The other deck that shall not be named.
Yeah. Well, it's just like discard is such a toxic strategy
it's
in
gross.
So many other games.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that I'm like, yeah, you should go play that instead of the best deck in the format.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find you, Brandon?
You guys can find me on YouTube at B224. I finished my Why You Should Play series today.
Go watch the whole series now.
You guys can, you can watch the whole series, and I can shut up about cards that aren't relevant anymore and move on into the inkwell. So I'd love if you guys go watch that and subscribe. It's all appreciated. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at b24yt as well. I try to be pretty active on those and interact with people. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next week, hopefully with some more card reveals and maybe a look at set 3 OP or something like that. Maybe. Let's have a look date-wise. It's got to be coming. Yeah.
Set 3 OP?
Like what are the promos and stuff? Like as in league kit. I feel like it's got to be coming.
I'm expecting next week's reveals to be a lot.
Oh yeah, you think they're gonna start ramping up now?
Yeah, I think we're getting close. Right. And it's getting close to time for them to move down.
Congrats on 4K subs. Oh yeah, we hit 4,000 on the channel here yesterday, I think it was. So that's cool. Nice number to hit. Yeah, next 5K next, we'll see. But yeah, that's it then. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Until next week in Ink.
That was This Week in Ink.